me in town.
I'm the purveyor of news. I'm the truth teller. Well, happy Father's Day to both of you. Glad that you guys had a great weekend. Ian, unfortunately, is going to have to sit through. Ian and for Matt today on the board, and he's going to have to sit through, as a Red Sox fan, us talking a lot about this trade. But it is relevant for the Mariners. And to be fair, I don't know how many of us are going to be on Boston's side here, Ian. So we're going to get to that a little more at 10:30. We'll talk about it a bit here. Let's start with just the Mariners, though, because things were feeling good this weekend. They swept the Guardians, and we needed that in the worst way. Who stood out to you in the sweep?
You know who it is, man? My man JP is having himself a crazy June so far. OPS in over 1,000. And, of course, the Grand Salami is always great. Tellez had a bomb as well. But slowly and sneakily, Polanco put together a couple of games as well. I think because he had that hot start, kind of fills it out a bit. We've been on his head. So because he had himself a decent series, I got to show my man some love. So Vegas to Polanco. Game one, you had 6 players hit doubles, something that we've been asking for all year. Just come on, extra base hits, extra base hits. Kirby went 101 pitches in five innings. You also got a Hancock who went 85 pitches in 7 innings. It's almost like the rotation is starting to come into form. And that's why when I talk to these experts and they talk about getting an arm, I'm like, man, I would pump the brakes on the arm a bit because I think these guys are going to be okay. The Mariners needed this series. Yes. They needed it. We needed it. I'm tired of talking about a team that's losing. You guys are tired of hearing about this team. But they still got some work to do. But I'm glad they were able to sweep. But big ups to JP, to Les Polanco. Give him some love as well because he had himself a decent series.
I have some highlights from those highlights, so let's get to it. Why not? Start Monday, a sunny Monday with some feel-good sound here. JP Crawford hitting that grand slam.
Here's the set by Ortiz and the 1-2 to JP. Swinging a drive deep to right field. Going and Grandma, get out the right bread and mustard. It is grand salami time. J.P. Crawford with a grand slam. And the Mariners now lead the Guardians by a score of 5-0.
Guardians never mount a response. There ends up being a shutout. We're going to get to Hancock's performance in a second. JP, on how it feels to be a father on Father's Day.
It's the best day ever. People always say it's differently being your first one, but I finally get it now. And, I'm just so thankful for sure.
We had some dad strength right there on that grand slam. Let's stick with Sunday. We're going to go to Hancock with 7 scoreless.
Emerson is ready. The 2-2. Did he go? Checked his swing. He did not. He is punched out. He did not check the swing. He goes, and Emerson Hancock, his 4th strikeout of the game. A brilliant day here against Cleveland. He's gone 7 innings, and he's kept Cleveland scoreless on just 2 hits. A magnificent outing for Emerson Hancock.
Again, 7 scoreless, 2 hits, 4 strikeouts. A phenomenal performance by Hancock. Here's Dan Wilson on Emerson.
With the injuries that we've had to the starters and the role that he has played, he stepped right up. And, he giving us 7 today was huge. I mean, it's just flat out huge. I think, we've talked about it a lot. He's got good stuff. He's got the 95 plus with the sink to it. He's got a 4-seamer. He's got the changeup and slider. But it's more his approach mentally where he goes. And you could see it again today. He just was out there attacking. And it was a special outing for him today. And again, like I said, it was very timely. We really needed it.
Maybe it's Emerson Hancock's outing. Maybe it's Logan coming back today. But, Bump, it does sound like you're starting to feel a little more confident with the arms. And you're just kind of going, okay, now what with the bats?
We're feeling better. And, we got Logan, too. Logan's going to be in the mix. Mm-hmm. Kirby's looking good. Emerson's looking good. Castillo's been up and down, but kind of steady as of late. I'm feeling good about the arms as of now. The bats are still a bit concerning, right? You have to take what this series is and realize that JP had himself a good one. Cal kind of spotty. Polanco did his thing. Tellez contributed. You got Masterboni coming through late as well. I still look at the lineup and think that you need help.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. I think that's what the trade deadline is for. And then, which we'll talk about, you look at what the Boston Red Sox did and how aggressive they were in their move. And you're saying, man, that must I should say the Giants.
Yeah.
That must be nice to understand that there's a deficit here and you need to fill that void and do it quickly. And the Giants were aggressive, so I can appreciate that. I don't expect that type of move from Seattle, but I was listening to the morning show, and Goldie pointed it out, Goldsmith. He said, look, there is a track record of the Mariners doing something at the trade deadline. You look at two cornerstone pieces. You got Castillo and a Rosarena. Yeah, those are big moves. They kind of get overshadowed because those moves felt like it still wasn't enough to get you over the top to be a consistent contender. But they have shown, the Mariners have shown at the trade deadline, they will make some moves. You got Robbie Ray as well. So we'll see what this does. But much needed. Arms are looking good. Still need some more pop from those bats, but I'll take a sweep all day.
Let's go ahead and dive into that trade now. I think we've talked about what we love from this series, and you don't want to harp on too much of it. Obviously, we still want to see what they look like against Boston, but the fact that Boston made that trade is important and relevant to Seattle for two reasons. Again, we're going to talk about this a lot at 10:30, but we'll spend about 5 minutes on it right now. Part of it is obviously you're about to face the Red Sox, like you said, Bump, so that's important. Like a club coming to you. Imagine Seattle beating the Astros, trading Graveman, playing the next day times a million. Like that's kind of that feeling of like you had won 7 of 8, you'd swept your rival, the Yankees, and then you trade away the guy that's leading your club in home runs. That sucks. And not only that, but like your most expensive player, kind of a face of the franchise right now because you couldn't hang on to Mookie Betts. That's a bummer. And then you're coming here to Seattle. So they might be looking to fight through that and look to overcome that adversity. And from Seattle's point of view, it's like build on this series that you just had against the Guardians. But beyond that, you sound, Bump, and I'm imagining a lot of Mariners fans do, inspired by what teams are willing to do at the deadline. We're not going to see a move bigger than Devers.
No.
We are not going to see a move bigger than this trade at the deadline. But to you, should the Mariners be willing to be a little more aggressive?
Yeah, I think you should, especially when you look at just the prospects that the Mariners have. I mean, their farm system is loaded right now. You have some pieces over there. It's just what are you going to add with those pieces if you were to make a move, right? Are you going to give up a young arm? What direction are you going to go? Obviously, the big names are Harry Ford is going to be in the mix, of course. But I think it at least gives some type of example of what you can do. Like you mentioned, no deal is going to be bigger than the Devers deal. It's the biggest deal in the game right now. And a lot of the reason why that went down was because of the relationship that Devers had with Boston. They're like, look, we just want to get rid of him. 10-year contract. He's signed until he's 36. There's a lot of money here. Maybe we can use that money that we're saving to go out and be aggressive. So now I'm looking to see what's the next move for the Red Sox. You're not just going to sit still and say, all right, we dumped this contract. We're good for the season. Like, what are you going to do?
Funnel the money to Liverpool.
Yeah, what are you going to do to correspond with that? So we shall see. But no, I was excited when I heard the news. I was actually on the course with Salk when it all went down. And we're sitting there, he's a Boston guy too. So we're sitting there talking about, what moves can be made. And naturally we relate that to the Mariners. Like, does ownership have the stones, as Dave Wyman would say, to make a move like that? Because it's scary. Could you imagine being the Red Sox making this move? Like, we understand that the relationship was all jacked up between those two, but you are giving up your best player right now. Just hit a bomb, his last AB, to dump that contract and be aggressive in a different way. Right? People can see this as them maybe just giving up assets and just trying to move on, but this can allow them to be aggressive. How are they going to do that? I don't know. But you got to have some stones to make a move like that.
Yeah, man. And on the Giants side of things, too. He's not going to play third for the Giants. They've got a great third baseman there.
Yeah, he's DHing.
And they could use an upgrade at first, but like you said, Bump, he's going to be DHing with the Giants. You're inheriting the same problem Boston did. The exact same problem, which is we're paying a lot of money to a guy to just DH. However, if you're the Giants, you've not had the offensive success that the Red Sox have had in the last many years. I didn't even realize this. Credit to David Schoenfield and credit to anyone who did realize this. I obviously don't follow the Giants incredibly closely. I had no idea that San Francisco hadn't had a 30 home run hitter since 2004.
Since Barry
Bonds. Yeah. Barry Bonds, put him in the hall, was the last 30-plus home run hitter for the Giants.
It's hard to hit over there, man.
It's incredibly difficult, and you know that you're going to see, like, Devers' average is going to go down. It just will. But, I mean, that's power to your lineup you didn't have before. And to San Francisco, that was worth taking on a contract that I bet money the Mariners would not want to take on, and a number of other teams would not want to take on. I was listening to Baseball Tonight with Buster Olney this morning, and he had talked to a bunch of executives around the league. A number of them weren't saying, Boston, what are you doing? They were going, oh, my God, Giants, what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's a crazy contract.
It's a big move, man. And what I'm hearing and seeing is that Buster Posey was kind of like the driving force behind this whole thing.
Love it.
And exactly, a guy who's been there, done that, been on the diamond, balling out. Now he's up there helping these guys make some moves. But these are the type of moves that teams make if they want to win. If you legit want to give yourself an opportunity to be a contender, you got to make these type of moves. But like I said, it's so hard to pull the trigger on some of this stuff, man, because you're giving up assets. You're bringing over Devers to a ballpark that is not hitter-friendly. Like you said, his average is going to drop. And how is he going to be perceived with these Giants fans? I hope that they're sitting down and realizing, look, you can't – I mean, I read an article that said, well, Devers got so many cheap doubles over there with the Green Monster just because of the way that ballpark is set up. Like, expectations have to change a little bit, but they're also heightened, I feel like, because you're getting over a talent that you're hopefully going to lock down for a long time. This is the fun part of sports right here, is watching teams try to better themselves and try to figure out which direction are they going to go. That's something that we've been trying to figure out here with the Mariners. Like, all right, which direction are you going to go now? How do you view your team? Just last week, a couple weeks ago, we're looking at the rotation and saying, man, they're banged up. They're not performing. Kirby's not in his groove yet. A week later, I'm looking at this rotation. I'm thinking, okay, they're coming around. Let's get it. A week ago, I'm looking at Cal and saying, my man is amazing. Now I'm looking at him and saying he's cooled down just a little bit. I'm going to need some help. But like I said in our show email, with the Mariners, it's about riding the waves, right? And there have been 3 big waves created so far this year. It started with Polanco, right? Ride that wave, you get hot, win some ball games. Then it's Cal, ride that wave, get hot, win some ball games. And now it's JP just with his consistency. I think he's like top 6 or 7 in the league when it comes to on-base percentage. He's going to get on. He's going to create some stuff for you. Ride the JP wave. But to ride that wave, man, you need some guys to join. And when you get to the trade deadline, hopefully you find a couple pieces to help you.
Well, and sticking with that analogy, to ride that wave and keep it going, like if you're a club that's going to need to just go off of getting hot or momentum, like you're going to need a little bit of luck and momentum on your side, it's about adding to the wave, right? Like when it goes around the park, as much as I hate the wave, I'm going to stick with this analogy, like people have to keep it going.
Yeah.
So maybe for San Francisco,
you don't have to keep the wave going.
Okay, you don't have to keep the wave going. In fact, you should not keep the wave going. But if we're sticking with the analogy,
in your chair just fine.
Listen, it's
Curtis,
distracting to the
think
pitchers,
lesser of you.
Distracting to the players.
Curtis, do you participate in the wave or you just...
Heck no.
No. Bump, do you participate in the wave?
If I'm with my kids, yeah.
Have you started a wave?
Never.
Okay, good.
Nah. Could you see me in front of like
Absolutely.
a section trying to get guys going?
Hang on.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah. Okay, I was siding with you for the analogy. The point was that keep building on a wave. Like when you're hot, if you know that like, no, we need a hot streak to keep going. Like we're not a club that's going to outspend. We're not a club that's going to blatantly outplay. We just got to keep it flowing. Then I like the analogy. But back to the more important question about whether or not you would start a wave. Yes.
I can see me starting a wave.
Yes, Bump, I could see
crazy.
you. No, listen, I could see you a couple beers deep.
You'd have to be
starting a wave.
I'd have to be more
Absolutely.
than a couple beers deep.
I'm just saying.
I'd have to be drinking before we get there, while we're there.
I think that there's a part of Bump that is an agent of chaos. And he just thinks that certain things are funny. And I think that there's an agent of chaos, Bump, nestled deep within you that would go, it'd be so funny if I started a wave, huh? And we'd go, don't do it. And he'd go, watch. It's like a cat. Don't knock that glass off, and Bump would go.
There's a piece in there, but starting the wave, that is a different,
That's
different type of move.
Truly egregious. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Headline number 1, the Red Sox stunned the baseball world by trading Rafael Devers to the Giants last night. What's the real headline?
Credit to San Francisco for taking a giant gamble.
I like that.
Thank you.
It is a giant gamble, but it's worth it. Your team gets better, but it's about perspective. His numbers are going to go down. It's not easy to hit there. Hopefully he becomes the first Giant to hit 30 bombs there since 04, you said, with Barry Bonds over there. 04, great year, by the way. It's when I graduated high school. This is gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun to watch, and I like the move for the Giants, but like I said, I just want to see. All right, Red Sox, what are you gonna do now? Like, what is your move? It's gonna be interesting.
I'm just telling you, I'm not a Red Sox fan, but I can guarantee you that what they're thinking is, all right, well, you gotta show that you can still win without Devers, and here's your opportunity against Seattle, a team we don't believe in. Like, I promise you, Red Sox fans, don't look at the Mariners and think of that as like, God, now we got to face the Mariners.
Yeah.
I think they're seeing it as like, we can show everyone they're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So
We'll come together.
Yeah.
It's us against the world.
Greg.
Good luck.
No, to the San Francisco point of it, we're going to talk about this more at 10:30. But I think that there's a group of people that are going to look at what San Francisco did and say that's way too aggressive, that's a waste of money, and if it doesn't pay off, you look like fools. And then there's a group of people who say you can't win in a vacuum. Not every single team is playing with the same tools here. And they have a bit of an uphill battle that they have to play in their division with the spending compared to other teams. Again, we'll talk about it at 10:30, but like in that context of what they have to work with, they kind of had to do this.
You're in a division where money is spent.
Yes.
Okay? You got the Dodgers ahead of you by 2 games. The Padres, we know the talent they have over there. They're in the mix. They're 2 games behind L.A. right now. I think this was a aggressive move, and I like it.
Well, and every move is going to have some kind of knock. Oh, well, Devers is a DH. He's going to DH in San Francisco. He's not even a great, defender, blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, the Yankees aren't going to make Aaron Judge available. Like, someone is available via trade for a reason. The best teams aren't going to trade their best players for nothing. There's going to be a risk inherent to any move. I like what San Francisco did here.
Mm-hmm.
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, Shohei Ohtani will return to the mound tonight to make his first start since 2023. What's the real headline?
Who would have thought this would be the second biggest day in baseball? Like, we'd be like, not now, Shohei. Something a little more important happening.
Listen, Shohei, just get through and be healthy, please, sir. Okay? I almost forgot he was a pitcher. He's been dominating in the batter's box for the last, year and a half or so. This should be fun, though, man. I was watching the game yesterday. Who were the Dodgers playing yesterday? Whatever.
Giants.
Giants. Yeah, I was watching that yesterday, and I'm going to gas L.A. real quick. A summertime ball game at Dodger Stadium was one of the prettiest things you've ever seen in your life. I'm sitting there, and the memories are just flowing back from my childhood, and I just wanted to take my kids to experience that. And now you got Shohei on the mound for the first time. It's going to be crazy at Dodger Stadium. You looked up the ticket prices. They jumped up a bit.
They're a little higher than average.
Yeah.
It'll probably always be for the Padres, but yeah, I saw someone tweet it out, and then I went and looked at like StubHub, like a couple different ticket vendors, and it's pretty pricey. Like outfield bleachers way in the back, $100.
I just need my Dodger fans, be on your best behavior today, okay? Like every time
no
we play the
parking lot
Giants,
fights.
things go down. I remember going to games against the Giants with my grandpa.
No stabbings.
And we're holding on tight to grandpa because it gets crazy, especially when you sit on the bleachers, man. In the bleachers and the outfield, it goes nuts. LA, be on your best behavior. We got enough going on over there already.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, Logan Gilbert will make his long-awaited return to the Mariners rotation tonight against those Boston Red Sox. What's the real headline?
This is the return to the mound Mariners fans are most excited for.
Listen, if Walter goes out there and lights this thing up, we just saw Kirby do his thing. Emerson Hancock looks good. I'm feeling different about this squad. I think this is going to be big when it comes to the organization determining what direction they want to go. Right, and I think Logan deserves a few starts. I don't expect him to come out there and look like Kirby his last start. But this is big because I think this could shift the way that they view this team, right? Are you going to go get an arm? Are you going to go get a bat? Logan, just get through this thing healthy. He's been looking good down in Tacoma so far, but this is going to be a fun one to watch.
Let's see. Someone said, thank you, Bump, if I'm with my kid. Tap into your inner kid, Stacy. The wave is fun. I'll never get the wave hate. Bump, thank you for being so pro-wave. On Bump and Stacy.
When you're with your kids, you act different.
Yeah.
Right, Curtis, right. When we're with our kids, our voices even change.
No, I bet Curtis, you're telling your kids, stop it, sit down.
Yeah. I mean, if they want to do it, they can do it, but I'm not.
So if your little girls say, like, they want you to do the wave, you're not going to do the wave. Yeah, be so for real, Curtis.
Sure. If Willis says, Daddy, let's do the wave.
Wrapped around her finger,
you are standing up
doing the wave.
and doing that dang wave.
Stop it.
Yeah, I'm a hypocrite, sure.
Yeah.
People don't need to know that, but yeah.
Typically, I am not a fan of the wave.
I'll throw a hand up. I'll have a drink in one hand.
Like, I don't get annoyed.
I'll throw a hand
it.
up every now and then. Like, hey, throw the hand up.
Don't participate. Keep it going just a little bit. All right. Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE. That stands for Women in Sports and Events. Together, we want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th annual Women of Inspiration Award are open now until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman at WOISeattle.org before the deadline. The Red Sox trading Rafael Devers does actually mean something for the Mariners. We'll tell you what you need to know next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
In Cal, you're seeing a superstar start to develop. He's starting to get that national recognition. It's always been, when you talk about the Mariners, you'd sort of talk about the rotation as a whole. Sure. Talking about an individual, it's been Julio. And it feels like Cal is starting to move into that spot. Now, here's the thing. Neither, by baseball standards, are being paid as a superstar.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor Installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
June is Men's Health Month, and we want to place a special emphasis on prostate cancer awareness and treatment. Prostate cancer can be silent. It's important to get checked, even if you have no symptoms. Ask your primary care doc for a PSA screening if you're 50 or over, and 45 if there's a family history. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment at Swedish CyberKnife right here in Seattle. It only takes 5 short treatment sessions. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
It's the Graz here for my friends at Premier Golf. Take advantage of early sunrise and late sunset at the 11 different Premier courses today. From Bellingham, Everett, and Marysville to Linwood, Bellevue, and Seattle, even out on the coast, they've got a course near you. Play Inter Bay or Jackson, Bill Wright or West Seattle, Bellevue, Legion Memorial, Walter Hall, Linwood, Cedar Crest, Lake Patton, and even Ocean Shores. Courses are in great shape and ready for your next round. Visit PremierGolfCenters.com. That's PremierGolfCenters.com and book your tee time today.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes. Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at MuckleshootCasino.com.
Muckleshoot. We at Three Tree Roofing understand that your home is your castle. That's why our certified technicians use state-of-the-art installation methods to deliver the highest warranties available. Check out our hundreds of online reviews and schedule a free estimate to see for yourself. Three Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit SUPlinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Wait, if I work today, why should I have to wait 2 weeks to get my money? With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
A blockbuster trade in MLB and what it actually means for the Mariners. Let's dive in. So if you guys are living under a rock, how'd you fit there? But also, the Red Sox sent their best player, Cornerstone, the last remaining piece from the 2018 World Series team. He was obviously their most expensive player. Initially, their everyday third baseman, Rafael Devers. There had been tension after they brought in Bregman because Devers was going to be moved to DH, and Devers didn't like it, but then finally reluctantly agreed. Then they lose Tristan Casas for the season at first, and they asked Devers to move to first, and he doesn't want to do it. Not only does he not want to do it, but he kind of calls them out publicly, saying, you better figure out your first base situation, because I was told that I just had to, drop my glove and focus on my bat. So there was some tension there. They deal him to San Francisco. San Francisco, in terms of return, doesn't give up a ton. A prospect, like their third, fourth starter, I think, and then 2 other prospects. And the real thing is them taking on that contract. That's really what they're doing. That's really the risk they're assuming, is taking on this massive, massive, massive deal. It was originally a 10-year, $313 or so million deal for Devers. What does it mean for the Mariners? Short-term bump, you got a team that's shocked by this trade coming into town. You think that actually affects them in any way? Like, does that matter? Maybe a little.
Does it matter that Devers is no longer on the Red Sox and we got him coming up? Yeah, it matters for sure. You lost some power. You lost the bat. Does it matter when it comes to influence? I think that is the real question when it comes to this. Because how were the Giants able to get better? You know what they didn't do? They didn't wait till the offseason and beg a hitter to come to a ballpark that is not hitter-friendly. You got to go out. And my mom used to tell me this when I was little. You got to take what's yours. You got to take it. So that's what they did. They went out there and took it. Granted, he had to give up some prospects or whatnot, but it seems like you came out on the right side of this whole deal. So hopefully, and look, realistically, do you think the Mariners are looking at the Red Sox and saying, or the Giants, they did it, we should do it too? No, but I think that they obviously are aware of the situation and are looking at the situation here and saying, okay, how can we make our team better within our parameters, our budget, and what we can or cannot do? That's the way I hope they're influenced. I don't think they're going to say, okay, well, the Giants did it. We got to go out and get the next big deal done. They don't spend money like that. But it does show that if you want to compete in this league, you got to go out on a limb. You got to put yourself out there. You got to be vulnerable. Put yourself out there and make a deal that probably makes you a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think in a million years the Mariners would be interested in taking on that much money for a DH. I know that they wouldn't feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I would bet that maybe how they're looking at it is, oh, great, an American League potential wild card team just got a little bit weaker. And if that's your stance, let's just say hypothetically as a team is, we wouldn't have made that move for Devers. That's too much. That's too big a contract for a DH. It's reckless. But an American League team just got weaker. Then beat them. If that's your stance, then live up to it. Sweep them. Play your best baseball. You know what I mean? If that's how you, in your mind, are going to take advantage of the situation, then do that. Great. I'll take that. Now, Bump and I, and maybe some listeners, would love it if the lesson was also, hey, don't be afraid to be a little more aggressive. Don't be afraid to get out of your comfort zone. Am I telling them to take on Devers' deal? No, I'm not. I know there are people that feel that way, so I want to make them feel included. Like there's a take out there that they absolutely could afford it and should do it. I don't think they're comfortable with it, but maybe they're comfortable with something else, and maybe the way that they're being influenced or the way that they could think, Bump, to your point, is just be a little aggressive in getting a bat. Go get Naylor. Go get Suarez. Swallow some pride. Get Suarez back. Right?
Go hit up, get in that phone book and hit everybody up and see where everyone stands. And I'm sure they're doing that, right? They're not just sitting at home, not thinking about ways to make this team better. But maybe now that they saw a deal go down, like you mentioned, it makes them want to double text. The team didn't reply to the text, so don't be scared. Go ahead and double text and see if there's still some offers on the table that you guys can work out. Because the name of the game is getting better, right? Right now, you are a game and a half outside of the wild card. You're in the mix, right? As bad as it felt for a while, as ugly as this team looked for a little bit. All right, you get a sweep, you're back in this mix. You never were really out of this thing. So many games to be played, but it's about that final boost. We were using Mario Kart as an analogy last week at some point.
Yeah, and I said the star.
Yeah, the star. What's going to give you that final push towards the end of the season to get you over the hump? And we'll see. But my gut tells me that it's not going to be anything crazy. But there will be an addition that they think makes this team better. There's a difference between what we think will make this team better and what they think will make this team better.
Yes.
We were, at the beginning of the season, we spoke to a name in the organization, and he told us, looked us in his eye and said, this is a good baseball team, and we're going to win a bunch of ball games. And they truly believe that. And at one point, I think they're patting themselves on the back and saying, we put together a roster that is competitive, but you know how the game goes. Where it can be football, basketball, baseball, don't matter. It's about adjustments on the field, adjustments with your roster, and kind of seeing the landscape of the league and figuring out what moves you can make. So I want to see what the whiteboard looks like over there for these guys.
Curious. Let's take a listen to what one MLB expert had to say about this trade. Jeff Passan.
In the short term, certainly, Rafael Devers, since Alex Bregman has been hurt, has been the Red Sox best hitter this season. And after he struggled over the first couple weeks of the season, he's been one of the best hitters in baseball. So in the near term, this seemingly makes the Boston Red Sox a worse team. And let's not remember all of the trauma that exists still in Red Sox Nation after the trade of Mookie Betts. When you have a player of that caliber, he's the sort you tend to want to keep around for the majority, if not entirety, of his career, particularly when he's a homegrown guy. But at the end of the day, I think the Red Sox have just grown a little bit tired, and Rafael Devers the same.
And what it means for the Giants.
It instantaneously makes their offense better. And look, they've got a third baseman in Matt Chapman, and he's going to be out for about a month now. So Rafael Devers theoretically could fill in there at third base. But I think long term, it's a question of, is he going to be a designated hitter, or is he going to be the first baseman there? And in Boston, he had said, I don't want to play first base. And I think some of that came down to the fact that he felt like the Red Sox mistreated him, didn't communicate with him very well when they signed Alex Bregman, and Devers was being moved off of the only position that he had known. So while he's not going to be a third baseman, the Giants didn't acquire him to play third base. They acquired him to hit home runs and drive in runs and be a force in the middle of a lineup that just doesn't have much.
Look, in a vacuum, you could look at Boston paying a 10-year, $313 million contract for a guy who's DHing, especially a guy who's DHing that doesn't want to help you at first when you need it, and go, yeah, that's not how I'd want to build my team. Maybe you can look at San Francisco in a vacuum and go, too much to pay a DH. But sports don't exist in a vacuum. That's not how the world works.
Nah.
And I think that's where this becomes really interesting. And Bump, you know this too, right? You look at San Francisco, and you grew up a Dodgers fan, so you're very familiar with the dynamics of that division. You look at San Francisco, not a hitter-friendly park. You're second or third in your division, and your leaders are spending a ton of money, the Padres and the Dodgers, and that's not going anywhere. You can't sit back and wait for your division leader to just become bad. It's not going to happen. Right now, you've struggled offensively for years, but your pitching is actually kind of a strength for you. It's very similar to what the Mariners are going through. And you could look at the Mariners, and let's say that they spent a ton of money on some random hitter. Let's say they did a similar deal where they brought in and they seemingly, quote, overpaid a guy. Yeah, for a team like the Dodgers or the Yankees or whoever else, they'd go, that's too much money. That's dumb spending.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's not happening in a vacuum. It's happening in the context of, but we have to win that way. This is how we have to do things. That's how the Giants feel. I'm wondering if Seattle feels that way.
The Giants felt this move needed to be done. Now, if I am the Mariners, all right, and I'm signing checks or whatnot, like you could see a move like Devers to the Mariners making this team better. What do they need? You need a bat. Sometimes you overpay for some things just because you want them. You want them now, and you feel like this is going to enhance your life. In this situation, it's going to enhance your ball club. Just like the Mariners don't make moves and it frustrates people, I wouldn't mind them making a move that people don't like, that people don't understand. Oh, that's too much, because you're never going to be able to make everybody happy. But we know what this team needs at this point. I don't think they need an arm. I think they need a bat. So when it's all said and done, a Devers move is not going to go down. We understand that. Mm-hmm. But what is aggressive for the Mariners? And the closer we get to the trade deadline, the more names we're going to have out there to have to kind of dissect and see who's going to fit. But what is aggressive for the Mariners? That's what I'm excited for, because the arms are shaping up. I think this rotation is going to be fine. But again, second year in a row, we're going to need a bat.
If you are waiting for some Seahawks updates, don't worry. Bob Condotta is joining us at 11. About 20 minutes from now, we're going to ask for all the lessons, all the notes, all the takeaways we have from OTAs and from mini camps. Hang tight. Just for a second here, we're going to stick with this Red Sox deal and what it means for the Mariners. The Red Sox did what other teams have done before them. They traded a superstar when that superstar was still great, because they finally just decided to draw a line somewhere. Does that remind you of any other trade? That's next on Bump and Stacy.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Chance to catch up with Bryce Miller. Appreciated your candor. You were coming out going, man, I haven't felt good. I don't feel good. Was it starting to become a mental thing where you're trying to compensate?
It's a tough game. It's a tough league, whenever you feel good. And you're not always going to feel 100% throughout a season, but it was just, I think I had 8 starts, and all 8, there wasn't a single start where I felt 90%.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, what's up? It's Michael Bumpus for Silver Reef Casino. I got something for you to do this weekend. Take an easy drive up I-5, get off on exit 260, and that's where you'll find Silver Reef Casino. It's a great place to get away, to recharge, and get your mind right. I did it. I loved it. They got comfortable rooms. They got free Wi-Fi, and they have tablets in the rooms as well. When you're all settled in, go downstairs to the steakhouse and the cantina if you want to watch some sports. They got you covered there, too. Portis Bay Sports Bar, the vibes are on point. I played golf this weekend, but next weekend I'm going up to Loomis Trails Golf Course, 18 holes with water almost everywhere. And every Saturday this month, you can win up to $5,000. They also have some events as well. You got Howie Mandel, you got Desperado, it's an Eagles tribute band. You also have Neil McCoy. Book your tickets at silverreefcasino.com. Silver Reef Casino, it's not a secret anymore. Visit silverreefcasino.com.
Evan Cohen here. Whether you're locking in your home run picks or riding with your favorite golfers this summer, ESPN Bet is your sports book for all the action. Go from checking stats on your favorite teams and players to placing bets in just a few taps. Plus, new customers can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from...
We can be twinsies.
...to...
How was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom. Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
career changers, including veterans and active duty service members. Your transition starts here. Go from GI to IT in a matter of months. Become a certified cyber warrior with training at My Computer Career. Cybersecurity specialists are in high demand, offering IT pros great opportunities and a rewarding lifestyle while protecting our people, liberty, and treasured institutions from cyber threats. Deploy your career in IT today. Learn more at mycomputercareer.edu/CWP. SkillBridge and other VA benefits are available to those who qualify.
Do you know a woman who gives her all to the sports community, encourages diversity, and empowers those around her? Stacy Rost here. Seattle Sports is partnering with the Seattle chapter of WISE, which stands for Women in Sports and Events. We want to recognize a woman in our community, and we need your help finding her. Nominations for the 4th annual Women of Inspiration Award are open until July 11th. The winner will receive a donation to the cause of their choice. Nominate an inspiring woman today at WOISeattle.org. That's WOISeattle.org.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car thefts dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here from my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen, and PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
When a face of the franchise and a GM collide, the Rafael Devers trade is not the first time that a star's been dealt in a blockbuster move that shocked the rest of the league. I thought that maybe we'd reflect on some massive trades, and I'm not talking about like, oh, a random dude is traded nearing the end of his deal, or what. I'm talking about Luka, and I don't think that Devers is like a great kind of comp for Luka.
I think it is.
Really?
They both were beefing with the organization. Organization didn't like how they were moving. They didn't like the way the organization was moving.
But it would be like if Devers was even younger, like 24.
You mean that you're talking about
I'm talking about
skill-wise.
yeah. But context, 1,000% exactly. That's why I was thinking of like other moves that we could go straight to Luka, but like I thought I'd open it up. Texters, feel free, 866-979-3776. Any other trades this reminded us of, another move it reminded us of, and maybe how it worked out. Maybe a chance for us to look back and see how it worked out, because sometimes that pays off. Hi, Russell Wilson being dealt by the Seahawks ends up falling off the face of the earth talent-wise, and Seattle looks like a genius. At the time, Seattle was not being praised for that move.
Yeah.
They were seen as idiots.
Yep. I can that Russell one was crazy. I remember sitting at my desk when that all went down, and I couldn't believe it. I think a recent one, you can kind of look at it and feel that way. Like, what's DK going to look like with the Steelers? You know, because just the way Devers is going to a ballpark that's not hitter-friendly, DK is going to an office that no one knows what's it's going to look like, right? Aaron Rodgers, 41 years of age. Is he going to be the guy that we saw even 4 or 5 years ago, just a little bit tap into that and allow DK to do his thing? There's question marks there because the Steelers are going to be better at the wideout position. The Giants will be better with Devers on the team, but how much better? How much is that ballpark going to hinder Devers? How much is this offense going to hinder DK? Or is DK, his mind going to be in the right place? Everything I'm seeing and hearing from the Steelers camp, it looks and sounds like DK is going to be fine, but we know how this thing goes. You got to go out there and play. So I'll throw DK in there. How
much would you be willing to put up with when it comes to someone? Because, Luka was, a lot of people were like, oh, that family just didn't want to do Supermax, whatever. A lot of people were like, oh, he didn't want to lose weight. He was difficult to deal with when it came to taking instruction and feedback. He didn't want to get healthy. He didn't want to try harder, and that's why. With Devers, it was, hey, he didn't ask for a trade, but when he blatantly told them no, I'm not playing first. I don't care if you need me there. For them, that was the deal breaker, and they started shopping around, right?
Yeah.
When do you draw the line? You're face of the franchise, your most talented guy. Is there a point when it's almost like no matter how talented someone is, you're like, look, this isn't going to fly with me?
There is a point for most people, but there are a select few. We'll never hear about Shohei acting a fool, but if Shohei was acting a fool, the Dodgers would be like, look, we just got to deal with this because he's the greatest baseball player on the planet right now.
He can play by his own rules.
If Aaron Judge was acting a fool, which we don't think because that's just not in his personality, I would say there are about 3 to 5 players per league.
Right.
If Connor McDavid was acting a fool in Edmonton, they'd be like, we'll deal with it.
Mahomes, Allen Jackson.
Ovechkin used to go to Russia, hop on the Autobahn and go 200 miles per hour, and they would just pray that he make it home safely. The Capitals were like, look, he's crazy, but he's that good that we're just going to deal with it. 3 to 5, maybe 4 players a league where you kind of just do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, and then the rest of them are that interesting group of Devers is one of the best hitters. One of the best hitters. He's been wildly consistent when it comes to that. But are you good enough to tell a team that, for some reason, does look to cost-cutting measures? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. I'm not going to be a team player right now.
Yeah, it is a stance that once you make that stance, there's no going back from that. Even if Devers were to make that stance early in the season like he was doing, and then come around and say, all right, let's try to work this thing out. Yeah, you can move forward, but there's always going to be that lingering feeling like you are a selfish person. You are not about this baseball club. But as long as you're hitting bombs and making plays, you're going to put up with a lot more. It's like pretty people. Pretty people get away with stuff, all right? Pretty person.
Pretty privilege.
It's a pretty privilege. A man or a woman, it don't matter. If you are an attractive-looking person, people will deal with a lot of your BS, just like in sports.
Randy Johnson, the most popular answer on the text line. Curtis, is that what you were thinking of maybe?
Well, the difference between Randy and Devers is that Devers had gotten paid. Randy was seeking that payday. The Mariners weren't willing to invest in him because of past injury concerns, and I think he was starting to get a little older. But it's funny because Randy Johnson ended up pitching I think it was another decade in Major League Baseball.
We don't need to think about it.
Before he hung it up eventually.
We don't need to revisit.
Yeah, ended up winning over 300 games.
That's
struck
enough.
out nearly 5,000. Sorry. But, I think that was the biggest difference. Now, the Mariners did get better in the immediacy following the Johnson trade because they got Freddie Garcia. They got Carlos Guillen, a couple of big contributors. John Halama was another guy they got in that trade who contributed a little bit to that 2001 ball club. But, maybe this is one of those trades where the Giants benefit, I just don't see how the Red Sox benefit in the short term. Now, this does open up things a little bit more for their, young trio of superstar prospects with Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, and Christian Campbell. Campbell's struggling a lot at the big league level right now, but that's a big ask to hand it over to 3 top prospects. Here in Seattle, when they handed the keys over to Julio and Jared Kelenic, everybody was like, oh man, these guys are going to be stars. And as we know, the prospect game is such a
gamble.
It's
almost like prospects aren't guaranteed to work out in the pros.
Right. So the Red Sox, that's going to be a hard sell to your fan base that demands a World Series darn near every season.
Ian, you're shaking your head. What's the Red Sox point of view here? Because you are a Red Sox fan. People can forgive you for that. It's okay. We hate the Yankees a little more.
I am completely lost.
Like, what we just talked about the young guys. What sort of message does this send to the 3 prospects that you just called up in the last 2 months? Roman Anthony started his first game in the major leagues last week. This is his first road trip. And you just traded the homegrown talent franchise cornerstone that you gave this massive extension to. When these guys come to arbitration, when it comes time for them to look in free agency, they're not going to look at the Red Sox because they just saw what happens to your homegrown guy who you give all that money. They don't care. They're just going to trade him away anyway. So you're not going to hold on to these guys. You're setting a horrible example. You're freeing up all this money to pay Bregman?
Yeah.
Maybe?
That's a really good point, because I think that there's a person somewhere that looks at this trade and goes, well, good. You know, player doesn't want to be a team player. You ship him out of there. But, going back to your point about a team will put up with almost anything if they think they can win with that guy, or they think they need that guy to win. They'll put up with anything. It's not about, like, it's our way or the highway. It's only when a team thinks, maybe in the back of their mind, I think we could win without him.
Yeah, I think he can get more value, too, right, by getting rid of that contract. And look, Boston, they do this. Thank you, Boston, for sending Mookie to L.A. You know what I mean? Like, this is they're not afraid to make these kind of moves. So what do they have up their sleeve? I'll keep asking that question until I see what moves they make. So, yes, they must think they can win without him, or they just got to a point where he was such a cancer around the ball club that they just want the vibes back.
And maybe we'll hear about that from maybe stuff will come out of the Giants clubhouse about how, like, oh, he's so unhappy, blah, blah, blah. Or, like, maybe he's hitting fewer home runs. Maybe the power goes away, or rather maybe the average dips and he gets really frustrated in San Francisco. Maybe.
Oh, we'll definitely get a Devers smear campaign
for sure from Boston media.
It's already started. It started before he left. There were reports that the clubhouse wasn't happy with him.
But I can kind of see why they wouldn't be. Like, if you're my most expensive player, and I'm not one to side with owners or management, but if you're my most expensive player and I've lost my first baseman for the season and I'm saying, please, I know this is a lot to ask. I know that this is an impossible task that I'm throwing on you, and you've been a third baseman your entire career, but please help us out here. Can you try? And you're saying, go find a first baseman then. I'm probably bristling too.
But is the leash have to be that short where you turn around 3 weeks later and you get rid of him?
I think that Boston, for some reason, acts like a mid-market team sometimes when they don't need to. I think that this isn't an effort to get out from this contract. That there's no way that Devers, for the first time ever, said, no, I don't want to do that. Like, he's been in that org since he was 16. They know exactly who he is as a person. This is about a team that, if the rumors are true, their ownership, primary ownership, just cares a little more about Liverpool right now, is willing to invest a little bit more in that, and that the Boston investment is taking kind of a backseat. I don't know. We don't cover Boston, so enough about that. We're back to Seattle. In fact, we're talking about the Seahawks. Seattle Times' Bob Condotta joins us next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
In Cal, you're seeing a superstar start to develop. He's starting to get that national recognition. It's always been, when you talk about the Mariners, you'd sort of talk about the rotation as a whole. Sure. Talking about an individual, it's been Julio. And it feels like Cal is starting to move into that spot. Now, here's the thing. Neither, by baseball standards, are being paid as a superstar.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first. on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
When you have really good leaders, it makes it easy.
Gia arrived at Lee Johnson after 10 years at another dealership.
You know your job, but then you have people who you can rely on to help you with the big stuff that, you need that support from. And I've gotten that every day with my service manager, with our assistant service manager, with even like our GM and our GSM. The way that, we're now on the showroom together, we are so close-knit just as a department. My service manager here, he's always open to teach you whatever you want to know. He just wants everybody to do good around him, and if somebody wants to learn something, I'm here to do it. And I've never had a service manager like that before. They're really good at promoting from within. That's one thing that I've learned from working here. I see people start out as a lot porter, and people work their way all the way up to being a general manager.
The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, Buc-ee's has you covered with no credit financing. For oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance, it's Buc-ee's Complete Auto. No appointment needed, and financing is available. Check Buc-ee's.com for the location near you.
Take advantage of Lake Washington Windows hot savings. $750 off per window and $1,500 off per door with leak armor installation. And enjoy 12 months same as cash financing only through June. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
Ladies, and you guys too, have you noticed visible signs of aging, those deep wrinkles, fine lines, and facial creases stealing your youthful glow? Sagging skin, crow's feet, and loss of facial contour are all natural effects of aging, but you no longer have to let them define your appearance. Introducing the new Skin Lift, the groundbreaking facelift led by Dr. Brian Scott. The advanced new Skin Lift addresses key signs of facial aging for women and men, restoring natural youthful contours. Whether it's replenishing volume lost over time or lifting the skin to smooth out those creases, the new Skin Lift can help you look 10 to 20 years younger with both surgical and non-surgical options. It's Hollywood's best kept secret and now available to you. Get a free consultation and save $250 off your new skin facelift. Schedule at newskinlift.com or 206-222-1225. Look 10 to 20 years younger and restore your youthful appearance with the new skin facelift. newskinlift.com.
Allergy and sinus symptoms are annoying. They're frustrating and can ruin an entire day. They're also curable. I'm Dr. Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We can free our patients of awful symptoms by testing and treating their allergies to simple, non-invasive treatments. Stop suffering from nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, facial pain, and even snoring. Let us help you get relief. Easily, quickly, and permanently. We're local in Federal Way and in Auburn. Come see us or book your appointment at sternsinus.com.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
Boston Red Sox shook up MLB yesterday with a blockbuster trade, sending all-star Rafael Devers to the Giants. Devers is leading Boston in home runs and walks. Boston coming off a hot streak that included a sweep of the Yankees, a series that saw Devers homer in his final AB. Elsewhere in baseball, Shohei Ohtani returns to the mound. The Dodgers star will pitch tomorrow night against the Padres, his first start since 2023. He'll be on a low pitch count according to ESPN. He's only expected to pitch through 1 or 2 innings.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now. Getting to the Seahawks with Seattle Times reporter Bob Condotta. He joins us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Bob, how's it going?
Good, good, Stacy. How you guys doing?
We're good. We've been talking, obviously, a lot about the Devers deal and the Mariners and finally getting to the Seahawks. We have several practices now to look back on. It was all question marks heading into the offseason, and while some remain, we have a few notes. We had OTAs. We had mandatory minicamp. So, Bob, we'll start with the quarterbacks. Anything sticking with you? It could be press conference quotes, interviews, or things you saw on the practice field. Anything sticking with you about these three quarterbacks?
Well, I mean, one of the main things is that there was a clear pecking order, which shouldn't have been a surprise, but just because when you do take a quarterback in the third round, maybe you think that he's got a chance to compete for the starting job or something. But, it was pretty clear. I mean, Sam Darnold ran the number one offense every time I was looking, and Drew Lock ran the twos, and Jalen Milroe the threes. And, I think that's obviously how it's going to enter training camp. And, and after you get into training camp for a week or two, you also start to begin preparing for the season a little bit, which is something Mike McDonald has mentioned, that, as much as competing, you're also just preparing your team for the season. So I don't know that there's going to be any real competition at all for that. I think that's what you're going to have. And so they're going to try to, make sure Darnold is prepped and ready in this offense, which is obviously new to everybody as can be for the opening of the season. There's been a lot of talk about Milroe and could they put in some kind of special package for him or something. I didn't really see evidence of that being something they're working on during the practices I was watching. But maybe that's something they're doing behind the scenes, or will come more to fore in the fall. But it will be, obviously it'll be interesting to see down the road if they are able to carve out something like that. But at the moment, that didn't really seem to be a big priority during any of this.
Bob, we know that one of the most explosive players on this team is Ken Walker, and he kind of had a weird camp, right? He's there for OTAs, not doing much. We're hearing about an ankle or whatnot. What do you make of the running back situation? And you said there was a clear pecking order when it came to the QB spot. Did you feel the same way about the running back position?
I did, yeah. I mean, I think it's Walker. I think he's still the guy, heading into training camp. Yeah, he had a little bit of an ankle. Running back is one of those positions you don't need as much work in these sessions, and especially if you're sort of a guy they feel is kind of proven, which I think they do feel, despite the questions about Walker's, maybe his long-term future and stuff like that. But I do think they feel like they know what they have in him, and so I think it's a little more important to get some of the, that is a spot where you maybe want to get some of the younger guys that work. So. When Walker did not take part in a whole lot, but when they did do their, when they would do their helmets off drills and, kind of the real slower pace stuff that they would do when they would have basically everybody out there, Walker was always, from what I saw, the number one running back out there. When they sent the one offense out there, Walker was with that. And so I think that showed that he's still the guy there, followed by Charbonnet. And then, Kenny McIntosh and Damian Martinez maybe appeared to be kind of just kind of rotating there as the spots behind them. But, I think that's, I think right now it's pretty clear. I mean, Walker and Charbonnet are going to be your top two guys. And then it's just a matter of who wins the jobs behind them. And I think special teams is going to be a really big part of that. Which of those two maybe can become the kickoff returner. I think, there's a really good chance that whichever of those guys, because they both were back there taking some turns there, that could end up deciding that I think with the kick return thing, I think with the new rules, I think they think there's going to be even more kickoff returns. So I think who becomes your two kickoff returners, I think that's going to play a pretty big role in who becomes and who wins some of these jobs at the bottom of the roster.
Was there anything at all that surprised you a bit, or did the 2 weeks of OTAs and minicamp feel like just business as usual?
From a roster standpoint, nothing surprised me a whole lot. They're probably going to be a kind of a boring team that way to talk about, because you feel like on defense, other than some rotational jobs here and there, but they're pretty set, really. I mean, when you've got basically 10 of your 11 starters from the end of last year back, and you replace that one starter with a really proven guy, and DeMarcus Lawrence, then you kind of roll out there what you think your base starting defense is going to be. The thing that'll be interesting to see, obviously, is if they add a veteran corner. I don't rule out that they might do that, and maybe there becomes a competition for that third cornerback spot. I thought Josh Jobe, it seemed like he played pretty well in these from what you can kind of gather from these. I don't know if they would have seen anything in that to make them think, yeah, we've got to go do that. But I think they still could want to go do that just to sort of, add some depth there. I don't know if anything really, was some big wow surprise in terms of anything from a personnel standpoint. It did just, I'm kind of writing up something now, and it kind of confirmed to me in a way that, the one big position where we don't know for sure what's really going to happen there is the offensive line. But I feel like a lot of other jobs, a lot of other spots in terms of who your starters are and who your main rotational guys, is kind of set in a lot of ways, and it's just a matter of maybe who takes over more snaps, maybe in certain games and things like that at some of those spots. But but I think that's a good thing. I think they felt like last year was really their big year of transition overall in terms of the coaching staff and some of the roster moves they made. And then this offseason obviously was as well in terms of what you did with your quarterback and the receiving spot. But I think now that they've made those moves, I feel like going into camp, I think they feel like, they've kind of done that hard work then. And now it really is a matter of, more so than having huge competitions for jobs all over the place. It's a lot more about preparing this team for the season.
Bob, last year we saw Dotson and Baker get the boot, and you're bringing Ernest, and you got Tyrese Knight as well. And there was a list put out, maybe you saw it in PFF, and they had Ernest Jones ranked, the 30th linebacker in the NFL. What do you think about that ranking? Do you think it's appropriate? And then what's the next step for this duo inside linebacker between Ernest Jones and Tyrese Knight?
Yeah, that seems way too low, especially if you watch the last 8 games of the Seahawks season last year. I would give some benefit of the doubt that I assume that's sort of based on his overall year. And I think you could probably if you looked at his whole year last year, obviously it's a little strange, right? He starts with the Rams, he ends up in Tennessee the week before the season starts, and suddenly is running a defense for the team that was, the worst in the NFL last year. And so that's half of your resume from last year that if you're PSF you're looking at. And then you get to Seattle, and his the first 2 games he played in with the Seahawks, statistically didn't look good for anybody. I mean, those were, or especially the first game, I guess he played in the Buffalo game. So I know PFF is very just kind of numbers and looking at that kind of thing. So I think that probably plays into it. But I think if you really, again, if you just looked at sort of the last 2 months of the year and after he became the middle linebacker, I think you would judge that a lot differently. And I think the Seahawks feel really good about what they have there with him and Tyrese Knight. And again, that's another spot that last year at this time you were really wondering about those guys. And, the fact that, one of the big disappointments last year at this point too was that you really didn't see either of those guys out there much because they had been injured. And I think that always, and they were nursing varying injuries and weren't able to be out there a whole lot, which they downplayed at the time. But I think that definitely played a role in kind of how last season went, that those guys had so little practice time heading into this season as well. This year, obviously, those guys played 2 months of the season together last year. So even though Ernest Jones had the knee surgery and wasn't out there a whole lot now, I don't know that that's a big deal because now they know the defense and McDonald knows exactly what he has in them. And so, I don't think Ernest Jones having to miss stuff now is a big deal at all. And I think their linebacking crew should be a lot better from day one this year, instead of kind of going through all the stuff that it went through last year.
I know we never want to count too much on rookies, right? That's kind of the thing. It's like they're really exciting to get on your team as a storyline, but you're still looking for those veterans. However, is there a rookie not named Gray Zabel who could actually have a real impact on this team or the potential to have impact this year?
Well, I mean, Nick Emenwari is the other real obvious one, and obviously you'd hope that the 35th overall pick would play substantially, so that's no real surprise. But that was obviously one of the real interesting things was just seeing how they're using him, and right now, they're using him in almost solely in what are kind of specialty packages. He didn't appear to be playing in the base defense ever at safety, or I didn't see him do any corner, but he wasn't really playing base safety either. He was playing, largely just when they had 3 safeties out there. Now, I'm sure down the road they would hope that he'll be a full-time, every down kind of guy. But for this year, Mike McDonald likes to have that kind of flexibility. That was one of the things he really made his name name doing in Baltimore was being able to have, 5 or 6 defensive backs and being able to craft these different packages that, that one week might play a lot more than they would play the following week based on who you're playing. He likes to be able to have that kind of flexibility to be able to switch things up like that. And I think Hammond Worry right now, I think that's going to be his role, is being a part of those kind of packages. Now, obviously, if there's an injury or something, then I think he would become the next man up at safety maybe. But, for right now, you've got your 2 safeties in Kobe Bryant and Julian Love. And so that's what they're kind of doing with them, and Worry is kind of doing some 3 safety packages with him. But I do think that's something that could be on the field quite a bit, and again, especially depending on who you're playing that week. And I think that's one of the things, that'll be different about this defense. Under Pete Carroll, there was an awful lot of years of just rolling the same guys out there, no matter who they were playing. But I think with McDonald, I think you're going to see, we saw that last year, right, with how they used some of the guys back there. But I think you're going to, now that he, again, has a much better feel for what he has, not only with their personnel, but I think he also has a better feel for, now that he's the head coach and kind of running things, totally that way, how he wants to run the defense that way, and also knowing who you're playing in your division, and knowing you're playing the 49ers, Rams, and Cardinals twice a year, kind of what'll work with that. And so, I think that's where he really fits in with that. The other rookie, who we definitely saw make a bunch of plays out there was Elijah Arroyo. But that's another spot where right now I think there's a clear pecking order with Noah Fant and AJ Barner as kind of your top 2 tight ends, and Arroyo is going to be that 3rd guy. But again, that's a spot where you can, depending on the game, you can be out there quite a bit and certainly make an impact.
Bob, was there something that Sam did throughout with the last few weeks that impressed you the most?
I think the biggest thing that impresses you with him is sort of seeing kind of his unflappability. We saw the first couple of practices, a lot was made. He had a couple of interceptions. He basically had 2 each of the first 2 days of the days that we were out there. And a couple of them might not have really been his fault. Again, the nature of these things is guys aren't necessarily fighting for the ball and things like that. So sometimes, there's kind of some, maybe in a real game, these plays don't turn out the way they do, kind of just looking at it on paper. But, I think that was the one thing that it felt like might not have known about him, is how is he going to come back from bad plays? How is he going to just play on a play-to-play basis? And I think that really impressed the team, with sort of his competitiveness and his fire out there. And he knew that those first couple of days, he knew that this was kind of the first time that, the media was out there, and as such, sort of the eyes of the public were out there on him as a Seahawk quarterback. What he had done the first month or so prior to that, nobody else from the outside had seen, and to get a little bit of publicity for those plays, and then to come back. And I thought he played a lot cleaner the rest of the way. And didn't have as many kind of turnover worthy plays or turnover potential plays. I didn't feel like the rest of the way, and especially the last 2 days of the mini camp in general. So I thought that was kind of a good sign of seeing him, but that way sort of bounce back from that.
He is Seattle Times Seahawks reporter Bob Condotta. Read more Bob's coverage, seattletimes.com, and on the Seattle Times app. Thanks, Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
Okay, thanks a lot, you guys.
See ya.
Bye.
Let's get to 4 down territory.
This is 4 down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, not a Shamar Stewart update. I didn't even know about this. We have an update on the Shamar Stewart situation. Fill us in.
Yeah, it's getting a little crazy over there. Shamar Stewart, if you don't know, is holding out, right? He was at OTA's mandatory mini camp and didn't practice because his deal has not been done. He doesn't like the language that's in his contract. So now he has hinted towards sitting out a full season. And if he sits out a full season, he misses out on a $10 million signing bonus, $19 million guaranteed. If he does enter the draft next year, he's not going to get as much money as he got this year. I don't think he's going to do it.
No.
I think you're just you're bluffing right now. But here's the thing. If he were to sign this contract, right, he gets his $10 million, $19 million overall, there's going to be a clause in that contract that says if he says anything to just degrade the team, right, your First Amendment rights are gone now. If you do anything that is frowned upon when it comes to the image of the Cincinnati Bengals, he will get fined. And this is just getting so messy. And the reputation of the Cincinnati Bengals is that they don't handle these situations greatly. You look at Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and Higgins, everyone got their money. For some reason, that was dealt with properly, but there's some language in those contracts that Shamar doesn't like either. But now they're threatening that he might not play in 2025. I think that is bullcorn. I think that he's going to figure it out. I think you're going to miss out on so much money, young man. You just go ahead and do what you have to do. It's just, it kills the relationship, because now if he were to sign this contract, you know he's going to get in, do his thing, 3 or 4 years, and he's going to want out of there unless they're winning Super Bowl championships. This is getting messy, but don't sit out, young man.
Man, I want to know. I feel like so much of what I'm seeing, and then when you were covering this last week in 4-down territory, it sounds like a fairly standard thing that he wants.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. It's just
wish I knew more about
the
contracts.
way the Bengals handle their contracts is a bit
like
different than
shady.
the way the rest of the league does.
Ooh, man, Bengals, you're coming out. Who would have thought that you could have a rookie come in here, kind of make a bit of a scene, and that most people would be like, Bengals, what are you doing?
Trying to change the game.
I know, second down. Coach Mike McDonald spoke about the wide receiver position last week. Were there any surprises?
No real surprises. He says JSN, Cooper Kupp, and MVS are the number 1s, 2s, and 3s. But he also said that there's a battle for that 4th spot. And their names that were mentioned: Bobo, you got Horton, Ricky White, you got Derek Young as well. But these guys are going to have to make plays on special teams. He also says, who's going to be our gunner? Who's going to go down and make some tackles? And the people are going to love this. Jake Bobo has the advantage right now at the number 4 spot. Why? Because he played more special teams last year. He played 66% of the snaps on special teams. We got Derek Young, who played 49. I think Derek Young is a better athlete, not bigger, but faster and stronger, a more fluid football player. But there's something about Bobo that allows him to get in and make some plays. I remember him having a few big hits on kickoff cover, him getting down there on the punt team. But let's not sleep on Ricky White III. He had 3 blocks when he was with UNLV. This is going to be a battle.
Yeah.
If you want a weird thing to look at during preseason, just look at special teams. Find Bobo, find Horton, find White, find Young, and see what they do. Of course, they have to be good receivers as well. Bobo's made some red zone plays. Derek Young hasn't had the opportunities that Bobo has gotten for reasons I don't know. I'm not there every day at practice, but this is going to be a fun battle because we're not going to see much of JSN, Kupp, and MVS. So these 4, Bobo, Horton, White, and Young, look for those guys who make some plays as a receiver and on special teams.
There's going to be one that breaks my heart. I just know it. There's going to be a cut this year where I go, God, what more could he have done? I genuinely don't know. 4th down, 3rd down. I'm kidding. What coaches are on the hot seat this season?
This is weird. I kind of threw this out there to kind of challenge myself and say, all right, who can you find? Because I don't think there's many guys on the hot seat. But I think Mike Tomlin is kind of on the hot seat. That seat is warm a little bit. Because, 2016 was the last time they got a playoff victory. Yes, he's over 500 every single year. You got your veteran quarterback now. You got a wideout in DK Metcalf. What is this team going to look like? You are in a tough division. We understand that. But at what point does the Arthur family just says, look, you know what? Or Rooney family just say, hey, you know what? It's time to move on. Another guy, hot seat, not really hot, but it's kind of warm. Canales, right over there with the Panthers. The reason why I say him is because you made a move at quarterback. You started Bryce. You brought in your backup. I forgot who they had play for a while. And now you ended the season with Bryce Young. Can you build off of that? Canales was brought over there just for Bryce Young because we saw what he did with Gino over here and with Russell Wilson, and they're thinking he might be the quarterback whisperer, so we're going there. And this next one is Zach Taylor. I don't think he should be the head coach for the Bengals. I don't think he should be, but if things don't go right, they need a scapegoat. And the first thing they're going to do is go to Zach Taylor. We know the struggles they've had at the beginning of the season. They never start the season off strong. Something's going on over there, and with all the drama that's surrounding the Bengals right now when it comes to Shamar Stewart and his contract, they're always going to try to point the finger and find somebody. If they don't start off hot, and that defense isn't doing what they're supposed to do, the offense isn't doing enough to win ball games, I think Zach Taylor is a guy that teams are going to look at.
That would be such a massive scapegoat situation. I don't know enough about that. This would be a good Justin Barnes thing. I haven't heard horrible things about Zach Taylor. Maybe among Bengals, it's more of a Kevin Stefanski thing where they're like, man, he's got his faults too.
Right.
But it feels like the story with the Bengals, and I know this is what you're saying, is one of ownership and a GM that isn't building up that defense in a good enough way. When you think about it, as a head coach, not only have you had to game plan in a really, really tough division, but you've had unhappy receivers, an unhappy quarterback, an unhappy defensive lineman, and you've had to just kind of keep everyone in it. Man, I I hope that doesn't happen. I'm
Yeah,
kind of
me
feeling
too.
for him.
Come on, Zach.
I could see it, though. I could see the vision. 4th down. We were just joined by Seattle Times Seahawks reporter Bob Condotta. Anything stand out?
He said this phrase maybe 3 or 4 times. I'm going to say 3. He kept saying pecking order. And when you hear Bob say there's a clear pecking order, to me, that is security. That means that they know what they're doing at the quarterback spot. Mike Salk came out and just tore up the internet with his question to Mike McDonald about if something were to happen, could you see Sam losing his job? Mike McDonald comes down and says, oh, that's a crazy question. But it's a question I think needed to be asked because people are curious. Once you draft a quarterback in the 3rd round, maybe there's competition. Bob comes out and says clear pecking order at the quarterback spot. Then I asked him about running backs. People, if you look at the text lines, they love Ken Walker. They hate Ken Walker at the same time. He has big playability, but some people feel like he's not patient enough with his runs. I asked him about the running back. There's a clear pecking order at the running back spot. Then the last one was the tight ends. He talked about Elijah Arroyo, and I think he is the more dynamic tight end over there. We hear about him being split out to the X position maybe and making some plays out there, but he says no, there is a clear pecking order there as well. So when you have additions at positions, at QB, the running back, and the tight end spot, and especially on the offensive side of the ball where we have most of the questions, and it seems like, no, there's an order and there's a way that they're going to go about this. I think that's a great place to start. Clear pecking order right now, but performance is going to determine who gets what during the regular season. Can Sam Darnold come out and ball out and look like he did last year? We'll see. Can Ken Walker stay healthy and make the big plays that we've seen? And then can Arroyo kind of elevate himself in a talented tight end group with Barnes over there and Fan as well and make some plays? So clear pecking order. He said that 3 or 4 times, and I like it.
A controversial story coming up in the timeline. Is it ever okay, Bump, I know this will resonate with you and anyone else who's coached, is it ever okay to throw your players under the bus? Because I know it's one thing to hint at the players needing to do a little bit better. I'm already seeing control room shaking heads right now. This is the most blatant example I've ever seen. That's next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
In Cal, you're seeing a superstar start to develop. He's starting to get that national recognition. It's always been, when you talk about the Mariners, you'd sort of talk about the rotation as a whole. Sure. Talking about an individual, it's been Julio. And it feels like Cal is starting to move into that spot. Now, here's the thing. Neither, by baseball standards, are being paid as a superstar.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Church's Chicken is bringing even more flavor to the neighborhood with our Bremerton location, and we can't wait to share what we've been cooking up. So stop by and try our bold, juicy, flavor-to-the-bone fried chicken with all our only at Church's Fixins. Yeah, your newest fave is waiting with unbeatable deals and unmistakable crunch right here at the Church's Chicken in Bremerton on 4000 Wheaton Way. That's right. Come on down. Friends, family, and neighbors welcomed at 4000 Wheaton Way in Bremerton. See you soon. Church's.
Need a new roof, a deck, siding, windows? Get up to $3,000 off any new installation. Hi, it's Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors. Home projects can add up fast, but we're here to help you save big. Book now and lock in up to $3,000 off in savings. That's $3,000 off any new installation. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free estimate today. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover's accepted at the places I love to shop. Get it? With the times.
With the times?
You're playing the lute. Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com. If you have a 2004 or newer vehicle that's out of warranty or about to be, Endurance is urgently notifying U.S. drivers about their low-cost vehicle coverage plan designed to save drivers thousands on rising vehicle repair costs. Those who qualify can pick their plan, coverage, and repair shop. Roadside service, towing, and rental cars included. All covered repairs get paid directly to the repair shop for you. Call now for your free quote. Call 800-431-8958. That's 800-431-8958.
You know what's faster than your paycheck? Literally everything. It's time to get your pay up to speed. With Earnin, you can access your pay as you work instead of waiting days and weeks for a paycheck. Get up to $150 a day with a max of $750 between paydays. No interest, no credit checks, and no mandatory fees. Because, hey, it's your money. Download the Earnin app now to get it and join millions of people making any day payday. That's EARNIN. Earnin is not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Available in select states. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
The home of the Mariners.
Left off to center. It is on its way. Julio, two-run home run.
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Did you know that most people wait 6 or 7 years before they buy a new TV? That's a lot of time in front of one TV. So why not get one of the best sets for the next 7 years, like one of the top-rated Samsung, LG, or Sony models? Too expensive? What if you could get up to $1,000 trade-in for your old set? Who would do a stupid deal like this? Right now, at Video Only, you can get big bucks for your old set as a trade-in and a hot price on the new models. Don't be sorry. Check out Video Only.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men, too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat-freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home. We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services, from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical, to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
This is The Timeline
with Bump and Stacy.
Brought to you by 1-800-DUI-AWAY.
Is it ever okay for a coach to throw their players under the bus? Think about your answers. Think about the situation that might make it okay to you. Or if there isn't one, then be ready for this story. The Nationals are not good. They've been in kind of this extended rebuild, as you guys all know. They win that World Series. Martinez's first year as a manager. I don't know. He had just started as a manager. They win a World Series, and then they kind of sell off some pieces. Get rid of a lot of those pieces, start a rebuild, and it hasn't quite come to a head yet. They haven't quite been able to get back there. They're on pace for, I think, 70 wins, 69 wins. It's just not a great season. So he was asked about Saturday's loss, and the question, I'm paraphrasing, is, hey, when is it on players? When is it on coaches? Kind of how do you navigate? And then the question, or the reporters interrupted with Davey's answer.
It's never on coaching, never on coaching. Okay, coaches work their asses off every single day. You know, we're not going to finger point here and say it's coaches. It's never on the coaches. Okay, they work hard. The message is clear. All the work is done prior. Sometimes they got to go out there and they got to play the game. It's always been about the players. always. I played this game a long time. Never once have I blamed the coach for anything. I mean, we worked our asses off to get better. They gave us information, and we used it. So these guys understand what the game is, man. These coaches, I never had such a group of coaches that worked as hard as they do. I mean, they're here freaking diligently. They go over everything. They sit with players every day. These coaches, they work their asses off. So, and I know every coach's staff is like that. So, sometimes, and the players know. Sometimes, you got to put the onus on the players. They got to go out there and they got to play the game the right way. We can't hit for them. We can't catch the balls for them. We can't pitch for them. We can't throw strikes for them. They got to do that.
Is it ever okay?
Is whatever okay to throw your players on the bus like that?
Because that's pretty blatant. It's never on the coaches. We can't hit for them. We can't throw for them. We can't throw strikes.
In baseball, coaches have the least influence on the game.
Yes.
The least. We can look at hockey, got the line changes, some of your goalies out or whatnot. Look at basketball, you got the way you run your offense, your inbound plays or whatnot. You call timeout. Football, we all know you call offensive plays, you call defensive plays.
Mm-hmm.
So coaches have the least influence on a game when we're talking about baseball. That's the angle that he is coming from,
Mm-hmm.
all right?
Mm-hmm.
To say it's never on the coaches is just so irresponsible.
Yes.
Because do you think at every moment you're communicating properly or effectively to each player? There are times where messages are lost, or you're not connecting with the player, or he doesn't understand exactly what you want, or maybe you're just not checking in when it needs to be checked in. To act as if you are perfect in your profession is silly to me. Now, I get where he's coming from because he's right. They're not throwing strikes. They're not catching the ball. They're not throwing it. They're not making contact with it. I understand that. But now what you're doing is you've just lost your locker room, sir.
Yep.
You lost your locker room. Even if you truly feel that way to the core, you as a professional coach, you has been a player, a coach in this league for X amount of years, you know your main job is to manage these men and make sure that they feel like they are prepared and appreciated. You can go out there and win some ball games. I get where he's coming from because you're right. You sit there and these guys just got to go play.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like any other sport. But you got to be smarter than that, dog. You got to know that your players are going to hear this. You got to know, even as a coach, as a leader, you take responsibility for things you have no control over sometimes just for the better good of the organization and the team. That's where he messed up. He should know better than this.
Here's the Bump and Stacy PR crisis management team approach and understanding right now. Listen, Davey, it's frustrating, okay? We get it. You look at your home run leaders, James Wood has 17. Next closest is 9. You are not a great team right now. Nathaniel Lowe is 29 years old, having his worst batting average in a full season with you right now. C.J. Abrams is having his worst batting average career-wise with you right now. You have Josh Bell having his worst season right now with you. It's kind of what was happening last year with the Mariners, where everyone was going, did everyone just decide to have like a career low in a couple different categories this year? You know what I mean? Or the year prior, did Teoscar Hernandez or Suarez suddenly decide to have a career high in strikeout rate? It just so happens with you. Now, I get that you can look at it and go, this front office did not give me a lot to work with. They did not give me a championship roster. But I think how you need to approach it is our coaches give their all every single day. These are really, really hardworking men and women that I have with this organization. Maybe I need to reexamine if we're not getting through to players because these players are better than these numbers. Something like that. Because
you take responsibility, man.
You just kind of have to.
Come on. You're a leader.
Yes. If your team isn't winning, ultimately that's the job you were hired to do. It might be unfair. You're probably wishing you were coaching a better team, a better constructed team, but that's the team you have. I don't know what to tell you, man.
If it's never on the coaches, then don't be in the dugout. Just stay in the clubhouse and let these guys coach themselves. Then it's very disappointing to hear someone of that magnitude, someone who knows this game, to go out there and not take any responsibility for the poor performance. A lot of it is on upstairs. A lot of it is on the guys who construct the roster. A lot of it is on the players who are on the field every single day. But you are a leader of men, And if you've been around teams long enough, you know that is not the approach, sir.
Joe in Bellevue said, working hard's the minimum. Anyone should do their job. They have to be smart and effective as well. And I could believe that they really are thinking in their minds, we're doing everything we can. These guys are just making bad decisions. Well, then you're not inspiring them.
Nah. You think that just inspired him too?
Exactly. Oh, by the way, that gets me to my next part of this story. According to the Washington Post on the Nationals clubhouse reaction, multiple people familiar with the situation who spoke on the condition of anonymity said players took notice of his comments. I wonder how. One person said players were shocked, dismayed, and pissed before Sunday's game. Members of the Nationals front office staff, including the GM, Mike Rizzo, were around talking with players, which is atypical.
Damage control.
Yep. They're not happy with it.
Nope.
Oh, well, that's their problem. Let's move on. J.J. Spawn clinched his first major victory after winning the U.S. Open with a 64-foot putt on 18.
Cozy it up. Don't need to make it. 2 putts.
Final round Sundays in U.S. Open history. J.J. Spawn closes the deal with a birdie at the last.
Congratulations to JJ. He shared that he had a very early start to his day after his daughter came down with a stomach bug.
Yeah, my child, she caught some sort of stomach bug. So, I tried to find a CVS that was open. There was no 24-hour CVS's in downtown Pittsburgh. So I ended up getting up a few hours later and finding one and getting a bunch of Pedialyte and crackers and just trying to do my best to make my daughter feel better. So it was kind of like a shaky start to the day. I mean, I didn't let it bother me, and it didn't bother me. But, I was just kind of my dad instinct kicking in and trying to help my wife out.
See, Bump, I'm not a parent. So in my mind, I was just thinking, do you know how mad I'd be if the most important day of my life, my kid's up at 3, and that's just life. That's just being a parent. But I would imagine there's so many times as a parent when you're like, today? Really?
Yeah, sometimes it'd be like that. He sounds like a first-time parent as well.
Yeah.
First-time parent, he's like, I'm up. What do you need? What do you need? Second-time parent, you're looking at your partner like, I'm trying to win the U.S. Open tomorrow. I can help you out for a little bit, but I got to go to sleep because I'm trying to win this thing. But good for him. And on Father's Day, too, right? Woke up, be a father at 3 a.m., and then you win the U.S. Open. That 64-footer was crazy. Like, he didn't even need to make that. It's a 2-putt, and he would have been fine. But a way to drop it in like that and have the crowd go crazy, that was fun. We saw... That was the hardest tournament I've ever watched. I watched these dudes struggle. Rory McIlroy is breaking things. You got Wyndham Clark, who went to the locker room and tore some things up. It was that frustrating out there. So for him to go through what he did the night before, then come out and win this thing, kudos.
Huge 4th of July news after a 1-year absence from the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. Joey Chestnut will return in 2025 to reclaim his title belt.
Back.
He missed the 2024 contest after a
needed
dispute with Major League Eating and his sponsorship deal with Impossible Foods. This is a big day.
Huge.
For America, for Joey, for hot dogs.
Completely turned my week around.
Yeah, I'm so glad that this undid a lot of the Devers deal.
It really did. He's back on real meats. He's
Fantastic.
not doing that tofu stuff anymore. Joey's back.
Congratulations to you and Curtis.
I know. This is he's a 4th of July staple. I think he's won like 14 or 15 of these contests. I mean, it wasn't the same last year. I think last year's winning number was 58. Like,
pathetic.
Okay.
God.
Wow.
Oh, is this your first time?
Yeah. I didn't know this is the UFL of eating.
ESPN's Buster Olney lists his GMs under the most pressure heading into the trade deadline. Did Jerry Dipoto make the list? That's next.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
We got a lot of baseball to talk with Jeff Passan today.
This is now a 29-game stretch where we're 11-18. Who are these Mariners on June 10th?
They're the team that at the beginning of the season we thought they were going to be and that they can't hit. Like, if Cal Raleigh is not in this lineup right now, I mean, I don't even know. They would look like the Rockies.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Hey, Brock Hewitt here for my friends at PCF Group, or People Come First Construction Group, and that's exactly what they did when we made the call a couple years ago. We wanted to redo our outdoor space, wanted to add a deck, an outdoor living, a television, and a kitchen. And PCF Group, wow, they more than delivered. And if you're interested in building a stunning outdoor area like we did, I cannot recommend them enough. Reach out before the good weather arrives, and their schedule, well, it's going to fill up. So whether you're looking for a complete outdoor living space or a very specific project like an underdeck ceiling, deck, patio cover, railings, PCF has you covered. Design now and pay later. In fact, get 12 months, no interest and no payments, and up to $6,000 off and a $1,000 Amazon gift card. Request a complimentary design and estimate consultation at 425-629-8476 or project ideas. Explore photos at pcfgroup.com. That's 425-629-8476.
At Lake Washington Windows and Doors, we offer premium windows that are 25% more energy efficient, reduce noise by 50%, and come with clean glass technology. And Leak Armor Installation gives you a lifetime warranty to protect your home. Visit LakeWashingtonWindows.com.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
Need a new roof now? With State Roofing and Exteriors, you can get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's right. Protect your home now and pay later. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
Safety comes first. When money is tight, don't neglect maintenance on your vehicle. Keep it safe. At Bucky's Complete Auto, we have you covered with no credit financing. For over 50 years, Bucky's has been servicing and repairing cars and trucks with modern-day technology and good old-fashioned customer service. There's a Bucky's just about everywhere for oil changes, wiper blades, brakes, tire rotation, tune-ups, and factory maintenance. No appointment necessary and financing is available. Check Bucky's.com for the location near you.
The home of the Mariners.
One hopper snared at short. On a quick hop by J.P. Crawford. That guy's a magician over there at shortstop.
Seattle Sports.
Download the Seattle Sports app.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
June is Men's Health Month, and we want to place a special emphasis on prostate cancer awareness and treatment. Prostate cancer can be silent. It's important to get checked, even if you have no symptoms. Ask your primary care doc for a PSA screening if you're 50 or over, and 45 if there's a family history. If you or someone you know is diagnosed with prostate cancer, consider treatment at Swedish Cyberknife right here in Seattle. It only takes 5 short treatment sessions. Go to swedish.org/cyberknifeprostate.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Bump, without knowing the answer, if you had to guess whether or not ESPN's Buster Olney has Jerry Dipoto on his list of GMs under the most pressure, what would you guess?
If it's not, he loses all legitimacy.
Okay, well, good for Buster, he does. He says Jerry Dipoto is one of his GMs under the most pressure heading into the deadline. He said despite Raleigh's power, the Mariners are struggling for offense at first base and DH. There's a clear need for a thumper, whether it's Ryan O'Hearn or Josh Naylor or someone of that ilk. As with the Orioles a year ago, the Mariners' farm system is loaded, and Dipoto can present a buffet table of options to rival executives looking for a match. I know that the trade deadline, or that at any point it feels like it's just going to be tough because there are so many teams that are still like, well, we're in it, right? Expanded playoffs, we're still in it. But, oh, my God, you have to do something.
Yeah, you got to do something, baby. You have to do it because this is where you are every year, right? You're good enough to have people wonder, what if you add a bat? What if you add this? And you're not good enough to have people wonder, what if they go on a skid and you miss the playoffs and you miss an opportunity to do something. So, yeah, Dipoto has to be. I feel like he is every year. The last 3-4 years, we've been talking about him being on the hot seat.
Yes, and to his credit, the last couple off seasons, we've been talking about trade deadline moves that have at least felt like efforts, right? And I don't mean like we're halfway sellers, halfway buyers. I mean like getting Randy Arozarena,
right?
A move that we can get behind. Here's Jerry Dipoto on Trident Talk talking about the trade deadline.
I think as we sit here, it's the first week of June. We have put ourselves in a good position as we approach the final. We'll call it 2 months leading up to the deadline. We have reached the point in the season where we have identified where our biggest needs are. And, we are in the process, like most teams in the league, of identifying players around the league who we feel like can help us fill those voids. And, fortunately for us, it's not 7 voids.
Bump, I think you'll find this cut interesting. Jerry Dipoto also on Trident Talk on being aggressive at the deadline.
I know we have the freedom to do it, that ownership is going to give us the flexibility to do it, and it just matters who's available. And right now there's so many teams that would qualify as, wow, they're kind of in it. And we're one of those teams. So hopefully the rest of them all stink for the next 40 days or so, and we can gain some clarity. But we think there are going to be players on the market who will fit what we're trying to achieve and who we feel like we can go out and acquire because we have as much to offer as anybody else in our position.
I knew it. I saw the eyebrows go up, Bump. Why?
Because he said ownership is going to allow them to make a run at somebody or something. All right. I think they will, but how much are they going to allow you to spend when it comes to that? How aggressive can you be? I think he's completely right when he talks about there are a lot of teams who are like looking at themselves saying, we're still in it. Like, you look at the American League, you got Tampa and the Blue Jays holding down the wild card spots right now. You got the Mariners, who are, half a game behind or something like that. You got the Twins half a game, Boston half a game, Texas 1, Guardians 1, Royals 3, Angels 3. I mean, you got teams who are really in the mix. You look at the other league, National League. You got Philly and the Giants up there. You got the Padres right behind them. The Brewers a game and a half, Cardinals 3, Cincinnati 3. So, yeah, he's absolutely right. There are teams who are still in the mix. Like the bottom feeders, we're looking at Chicago, the Athletics, the Pirates, and the Rockies, who, goodness gracious, Rockies 25 games out. But, yeah, you still had to wait for things to be sorted out. But how aggressive are you going to be allowed to be at the trade deadline? And that's something that is missed sometimes with Dipoto, is that obviously he is the face of this whole deal. He's the first point of contact when it comes to these trades of what's being what's happening or what's not happening. But he's got some bosses he has to answer to. It's the people upstairs, and they sign his checks and allow him to go out there and spend. So he has to be creative. I just hope that maybe this year they see the window closing with a rotation. They saw just how lucky you've been. Logan got hurt early. I mean, thank God if he were to get hurt, it was earlier in the season. You got Bryce Miller, who's all banged up. Thankfully, you got some young guys. You've been unfortunate with this rotation, but fortunate at the same time that you're so deep that you've been able to kind of weather the storm. So I hope they look at that situation and they tell themselves, all right, we got to take advantage, because I only see 1 or 2 more years of this group being together.
Now, earlier we talked about the Devers trade and how the Giants had to take advantage of a team being in a bad situation, that team being Boston, that did not want to be beholden to this contract. But they also assumed some risk. They're paying a lot of money. They took on that contract to a DH. He's going to continue to DH for them, maybe spend a little bit of time at third. But ultimately, they have a third baseman. It's the same kind of problem, but they see it as overall a benefit. The Mariners are going to be taking on a risk. There is not going to be a perfect opportunity out there. There is not going to be a contending team with a really good bat that they give up for just a couple prospects. You're going to be in a weird situation, a sticky situation. Would you give up some top prospects for a rental?
I would. I said that last year, though. I'm down for the rental.
Down for the rental?
I'm down for the rental, man, because when are you going to have this group of arms together? Like, how much longer are these guys going to be here together? Because eventually you're going to have to make a move, a bigger move, if you want to capitalize on Cal Raleigh, on Julio, and then the core groups that you have. And guess what? People are going to come after your arms. That's your biggest asset, your arms and your prospects. So, yes, I'm down for a rental because I want to make a run at this, and let's hang another playoff banner.
Curtis, Ian, if you're looking at someone like O'Hearn, who Buster Olney does mention here, 32 years old, right? A little bit older, rental. You give up Harry Ford?
For Ryan O'Hearn, I don't know about that, but I would definitely want to go out and get Ryan O'Hearn. I think he's had a fantastic first half of the season. I don't know if Harry Ford is going to be a name
but
that
you'll
the
give
Mariners,
up a couple prospects.
I would, yeah.
You're going to have to overpay no matter what.
Maybe,
You're going to be uncomfortable.
I look at last year's trade deadline where 0 top 100 prospects got moved league-wide.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder if that's maybe going to be the same thing that happens again this year.
So then what would the Mariners have to do? Give up?
What
are you going to give up from your bullpen? You need to add to your bullpen.
Right, but you can give up, a couple of draft picks that you made last year. Ryan Sloan. I don't know about if that would be a guy. I think he's a top 100 prospect now, but maybe some lesser guys, not the names that we have all been talking about, but maybe something less.
All right. Well, we are going to get back to the Seahawks. I know we've been pretty baseball heavy with the Mariners sweeping the Guardians, heading into a series against the Boston Red Sox, and the Red Sox themselves dominating headlines. But we got a lot to talk about with the Seattle Seahawks. Big Ray Roberts joining us next.
Blue 88 on Brock and Salk.
What have you been hearing about this new Seahawks offense, Brock?
Just the entire group, Salk. They're fit. And this isn't just the eyeball test. And this isn't just, I'm in the best shape of my life, right? They wear the catapult systems. They spend all the money and all the resources, and they know. And this team has been as diligent in their work over the last 3 months as any team here that they can remember.
Every day at 7:45, answering 3 football questions as only Brock Heward can.
Seattle home prices, well, they just keep going up, and you might be ready to take advantage. If you're getting ready to sell or just moved into a new home, now is the time to get a thorough inspection of your crawl space and attic. And don't do it yourself. You don't want to be crawling around in there. You probably don't even really know what to look for. It's Mike Salk here, and Crawl Pros will go where you don't want to, so you can know if there's anything going on in your crawl space or attic without having to crawl into and evaluate those spaces on your own. A free inspection will let you know if your home is energy efficient and if the air you're breathing is clean and safe. Plus, there are some really great utility rebates available right now to help you with the cost of the new insulation if it's needed. How nice would it be to get someone else to cover that cost? Had them out to my house, and it was a great idea. Did that free corner-to-corner inspection, found some issues. They took the pictures, showed them to me, and then solved the problem. No issues since. If you're worried about critters, mold, water damage, insulation issues, or anything else related to your crawl space or attic, call Crawl Pros or visit crawlpros.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Hey, it's Dave Wyman with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD from Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Dr. Wagner is hosting a free stem cell webinar this Wednesday night at 6 to explain how stem cell therapy works.
I'm really looking forward to this live webinar to educate on how using your own stem cells can be an extremely successful method to help regenerate native tissue in rotator cuffs, meniscus tears, and reduce pain in osteoarthritic joints.
And which joints have you seen good success with?
Shoulders, elbows, hips, knees, even wrists and ankles. And in this live webinar, we'll tell you all about the procedure, how simple and safe it is using your own stem cells, and how we determine if you're a candidate.
Dr. Wagner has performed over 20,000 stem cell procedures. Are you in pain? Join him this Wednesday night at 6 o'clock for the free stem cell webinar and learn all about this amazing procedure. Register now at drmarkwagnermd.com. That's drmarkwagnermd.com.
This week's First Mark Challenge victory goes to my friend Brock Heward. Brock, why did you call First Mark?
Brandy, it is so good to talk to you. It's been too long, and we made that call. And the only bummer is we waited too long. I know you hear from people that you talk to as well as I do to take the First Mark Insurance Challenge. I just wish we would have done it earlier. You know, Brandy, the word that comes to my mind is a word I use on my sports show a lot, and that is connective tissue. It's important in team building. It's important to players in a locker room to be connected to others. And when it comes to insurance, it's so complicated. It's stressful, and you just don't even want to deal with it. And that's where the connective tissue of having a pro, having a broker, having a partner, and most of all, having a teammate like First Mark Insurance was the best connective tissue we could find.
Brock did it. My family did it. You got to do it. It's free. Take the First Mark Challenge. See how much they can save you and how much better your coverage will get. Maybe you will be our next First Mark Challenge victory. Go to firstmarkinsurance.com.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
A blockbuster trade in MLB. The Red Sox sent all-star Rafael Devers to the Giants. Devers leading Boston in home runs and walks. Boston coming off a hot streak that included a sweep of the Yankees, a series that saw Devers homer in his final AB with Boston. By the way, Giants and Red Sox facing off later this week. Elsewhere in baseball, Shohei Ohtani returns to the mound. The Dodgers star will pitch tomorrow night against the Padres, his first start since 2023.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time. From the Quantum Fiber Studio,
this is Bump and Stacy
on Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross.
Here we go now.
Joining us right now on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline, talking Seahawks and NFL with Big Ray Roberts. Ray, how's it going?
Oh, I can't complain. As my dad would say, if I had your hand, I'd throw mine in.
We're going to start. You're just going to start using it now.
Uh-huh.
See, that's going to be me going, it's not clocking to you, and then you're going to start saying that
man,
one. We've got lots of new sayings.
Boy, if I your hand, I throw mine in. Yep.
Exactly. That's how he said.
We haven't spent a ton of time talking about the Seahawks, so we have a lot to explore when it comes to this team. And I think so far for me, Ray, is this. There's a lot that I could find interesting in theory about OTAs and mandatory minicamp, but I still don't quite know what this team is going to be because I don't know what we can take from the offseason. So I'll start with expectations. What do you think the Seahawks will be this year? Are we looking at a 10-win team maybe?
You know what? I could see a 10-win team, but I do think that it is predicated on how fast the defense gets started and how they can support the offense until they kind of can hit the ground, running. I don't think they're going to come right out the box, on offense, like just tearing it up. There's, new pieces on the, offensive, side of the ball. There's new coaches, new schemes, all those types of things. And so those types of things are really hard to understand when you're running around in T-shirts and shorts. Like when people try to make some declaration about the offensive or defensive lines doing OTAs, it's just a useless practice. It's just trying to fill idle time because there's just nothing you can tell until dudes can really get physical and get into blocks and finish a pass rush and all that kind of stuff. So I think the team is going to have to lean heavily on the defense to kind of get things going early in the season.
Big Ray, how do offensive linemen impress their coaches during this time of the year? Well, you mentioned you're not, no pads on or whatnot. Like, what are some things that, a fan should look at when training camp opens up and they're not in full pads or whatnot? Like, what are things a lineman does to make sure that his coaches know that he's on point and ready?
Yeah, this is why I think it's important to understand what coaches are trying to get done, like during the individual period, where they're kind of spending a lot of time, like really focusing on footwork, pad level, hand placement, angles, like all those kinds of things, because those are things that you can. I used to tell my players and even my son that plays at Portland State, when you don't have on pads, you should exaggerate everything you do, like how low you are, how fast you move, the steps you take. That your hand placement, exaggerated all of it, because there's a level of slippage that happens when you start playing with real bullets. So you're going to tend to rise up a little bit. You're going to tend to take a little bit shorter step when you start playing with live bullets. So if you exaggerate that when you don't have on pads, then your chances of getting it to the right place is, to me, is improved by doing that. So if I'm a fan, or even this is how I do it, when I watch them without pads, that's what I'm watching. I don't really watch a whole lot of the team stuff because it's just so much going on with no pads and quick whistles and the defense is at an advantage because they can just get out and run and you can't friggin' put your face mask in their face or chest. So that makes a difference. So I watch a lot of the individual period, what are they doing with their hands and feet? What are they doing with the technique? Can they take what the coach is teaching them and then be able to do it in the drills? And then when we get to the pads, then you can say, okay, let's see if they're being able to take it from the individual period to the team period, and then from the team period to the actual games they're playing in. So to me, that's what I look for and try to follow during those times.
I completely agree with you about, hey, they're going to need to lean heavy on the defense to start the season. And it's almost like there's more pressure on the defense than it has been in a few years to just start out hot. What does that look like to you? To me, Ray, it would mean hey, you don't get half a season to figure out the run again. You got to start strong.
Yeah, the areas that I was just thinking about this morning that I would look to, early in the season, is the 3 and outs. When they can get off the field, and then in getting off the field, can that help with improving the field position for the defense? So, for the offense. So if you can get off the field early and drives, so you can create a shorter field for the offense, then you kind of swing the pendulum in their favor in the offense. If you can create some turnovers to give them shorter fields, or you get points, and so that puts more pressure on the opposing defense to do things where your offense isn't really having to do anything to produce those points. And then, like I said, then that should impact the time of possession. So if the other team isn't dominating the time of possession because you're getting off the field, you turn them over, and we're getting the ball on offense and are able to sustain longer drives, then I think those areas will then start to show that, hey, this defense is on fire and they're playing fast and they're playing good football, and they're also giving the offense opportunities to have shorter fields, more time of possession to kind of work things out and get points on the board. It makes me think of, and it's a really, 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 really bad example, but my first year with the Seahawks, our defense was phenomenal. Like, I mean, we would go out and 3 and out, can't go anywhere. They get the ball right back, and they come off the field. Hey, we're giving you another chance, offense. We're giving you another chance. We just didn't have the people to take advantage of those chances. But that's the mentality that the defense has to play with when I think early in the season, so you don't end up losing some games that are winnable, or putting your offense in an opportunity where they have to really be the driving force to the victories.
Ray, we know that pass pro is probably the hardest thing for running backs to pick up, especially when they're young in this league. You got one rookie running back there, but you got Ken Walker, Charbonnet, and McIntosh. When you guys are going over pass pro in the film room, right? What does it do for an offensive lineman when you're talking about pass pro and there's a running back who just knows exactly where to be, how to get there? And who do you think is the better pass pro running back? It seems like it's clearly been Charbonnet, but it's Ken Walker getting that situation too.
Yeah, to me, Bump, it all comes down to like this whole trust thing, and sometimes it's hard. I just did a workshop the other day around some of this stuff, and when I was with Detroit, the year that Barry rushed for 2,000 yards, we weren't really connected with the running back room. Like, we knew what our assignments were, he knew what his deal was, but we never met together to really understand what is going on and why things have to happen and all these other kinds of things. So after the second week of the season, I pulled the offensive line together and I said, Barry, come sit with us. We didn't have the coaches in, and we're like, okay, this is what we're trying to get done on this play. What are you trying to get done? And then he would tell us what he's doing, and then we could go, okay, well, this is how all this stuff works together. And so I think when you talk about pass protection for this team, that's the type of thing that has to happen. It can't be just a coach-driven thing. It has to be some player-driven stuff, too, where you're going hey, man, let's make sure that we all are on the same page and understand what's going on, because then you have trust that, we may have to pick up the Mike and the Will linebacker, not just normally the offensive line have the 4-down lineman and the Mike linebacker. So that's why you always see them identifying, whoever it is. And then the running back will have the remaining threat. And so if your running back isn't that great, then the offensive line starts trying to overcompensate for that. And then you end up, with bad technique, or someone misses assignment. You have two guys picking up one blitzer and one blitzer is coming free. So I think that type of communication builds trust. And I do think right now Charbonnet is probably the best at it, but it's not something that it's hard to learn. It's just about effort and just understanding what your assignment is. Like, every now and then you might get blown up. That's just part of it. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. But you're going to have your body in the right place to at least have a chance to make the block.
What I do hear a lot from people that are a bit more optimistic about specifically the offensive coaching staff is the idea that there's a lot of untapped potential with the offensive line. I know Bump has talked about it, whether it's looking back at tape from the season and then what he saw in New Orleans. I've heard other people talk about it. I think that maybe, Ray, what tends to happen is if an offensive lineman doesn't shine first year or even year 2 in the league, people kind of give up on them and they're like, okay, that one was a dud, especially with this team. Do you think there's untapped potential with this offensive line, maybe especially with some of the second and third year guys?
Yeah, I think so. And, sometimes when you're going through different coaching staffs and different schemes and stuff like that, it slows your development down. When I first came to the league, this guy, Hudson Houck, was our offensive line coach my first year, and he wanted me to play more like this guy, Jackie Slater, that played, for 50 years for the Rams. And but it didn't really fit my body type and my athleticism and stuff, so I struggled with it a little bit. But then the next year, Howard Mudd came and was like, hey, this is how you should do it, and it just fit how I played better. And so for me, it was a positive to have like a coaching change. But for some people, it takes a while to kind of, you've learned, like, there's a million different ways you can do one particular technique or thing. Like, different people emphasize different, skills and techniques and things. So you have to unlearn things and relearn new things. So I think that can have an impact on the development. But I do think that, at some point, whether it's the player or the coach or a combination of those, the potential has to become something. Like, potential is a coach killer, because it's just like, oh, you put all this effort and time into potential and it just stays potential. At some point, potential has to evolve to something, or it doesn't. It kills teams and, careers and the whole nine. And so that, to me, is going to be the biggest issue with the Seahawks, because that hasn't been the thing that has occurred on the offensive line for several years, the development part. And so hopefully with this new staff, they've had some success in what they do. They have some commitment and belief in how they do things and how they coach things, that they can turn the potential into something that is actually real and that can contribute to wins. Like, that's a long-winded answer, but that's my answer.
Speaking of potential, I think Haynes has some potential, right? We've heard from the Seahawks that maybe he hasn't gotten that grown man strength yet, right? But we've seen him, I've heard of him taking reps at center and at guard. I know you like your linemen have PhDs at certain positions, but how do you feel about Chris Haynes getting reps at center and guard?
Well, I do think that, like, his more natural position would be at guard, because that's what he's done forever and that's what he likes doing. I'm not saying that you can't have success by moving, but like when your whole offensive line is predicated on, hey, we have this versatile offensive line and the three interior dudes can play all over the offensive line, that usually it's like having two quarterbacks. You don't have any, and so you have to have someone that is like for sure that they can do this job, and that's what they do. And so I like Christian Haynes. I thought they did him a huge disservice last year in his development, the way they were trying to rotate him with Bradford. I don't think that. I mean, I don't know. I don't get myself in trouble, but I just don't know that they were actually trying to see if Christian Haynes could be the starter as much as they were trying to motivate Bradford. And this position on the offensive line is just too hard to learn all the nuances and things as a rookie. Just going in every other play or every other drive or every other series, it's just really hard to figure out that way. And so I thought it zapped his confidence a little bit, because he has a lot to work with. And so I'm excited that they're trying to find opportunities to get him on the field, and they also really do need to have some depth at the center position. Olu is a true center, doesn't necessarily play guard, and so I think they need to develop some backup and some depth there.
That's so surprising to me, because Haynes was their second pick, granted a third rounder, but their second pick, using him to just kind of like motivate another guy as opposed to continue to develop is surprising.
Yeah, it's I think sometimes like people think like, oh, well, since he'll be in the game, he's kind of learning on the job, and he's going to adjust to it. And that's one, like, I learned on the job. Like, I missed the first 2 weeks of training camp and then came in and was the starter right away. And so it took me until like halfway through the regular season before I knew what the heck I was doing. Like, I was just focused on, I'm just going to block the dude in front of me. I had no idea about like watching the linebackers and looking for blitzes and all this other. Like, it's like, if I can get the snap count and the dude in front of me, I'm good. And so I missed the snap count quite a bit, and so it's just really hard to then do that, and you're going, you're switching every other series. That's just difficult to do, because as a rookie, every single week you're learning something new, and like there's a different way that someone's playing you. There's a different weakness or whatever that you're displaying that people are attacking. So you got to learn how to scout yourself and prove those weaknesses or mitigate the weaknesses. There's different body types with different skill sets. There's different years of experience that you're going against. There's different schemes you're going against. So it's so much to learn to try to go in every other series and you're trying to learn the people around you. It's just that's just too much, to try to make a decision on the offensive line by saying, hey, we're going to just rotate these dudes from week to week, and whoever gets the best grade is going to get it's detrimental to development to me.
Great insight from Big Ray Roberts, kind enough to join us on the Emerald Queen Casino Sportsbook Hotline. Thanks, Ray.
Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys have a good one.
Have a good one. Let's get to headline rewrites.
Extra, extra, read all about it.
Headline rewrites.
We must make headlines.
The real story behind the headlines in today's news with Bump and Stacy.
Can I publicly shame an outlet?
Sure.
We do that?
Yeah, let's burn it all down.
I loved our interview with Cooper Kupp. It was really insightful, and he had this great answer where he talked about the evolution of defenses since he's been in the league. Really nice guy. Chatted to us for about a minute after. Really, Bump and I came away very impressed, obviously. But anyways, the interview, his answer went viral for good reason because Cooper's really passionate about it. You can hear it in his voice. It's a super interesting listen. Shame on you, Rams Wire, for saying Cooper Kupp went on a radio show.
A radio show.
How are you going to lift our video and just say, and I'm only doing this because other outlets do this. I think it's just this natural thing that happens with aggregate sites. It's whatever. But I am shaming them because it's Rams Wire, so we're allowed to poke at the rest of the NFC West. How dare you, Rams Wire? Where'd you learn how to do any kind of journalism?
You know what?
Went on a radio show.
I'm texting JB Long right now.
Do it. Just say, shame on you, Rams.
What's up with your boy?
Yeah,
That's what
seriously.
say.
Y'all are just salty.
And then Jimmy Long's
Cooper's
like,
up
I don't
here
even
with
know who
us.
this is. I've never read Rams Wire
I know.
in my
He's
life.
I have no idea. Anyways, I was just going to publicly shame them. That's just
Shame.
the Rams. Shame. Okay, what's next? What's first?
What's first? Don't hit that button, Ian. Headline number 1, Game 5 of the NBA Finals is tonight. OKC even the series at 2-2 all the way back on Friday. What's the real headline?
We're still doing this? Can't wait for this series to wrap up by Labor Day.
Dude, NBA playoffs take forever.
Truly?
I need it. Though.
Bump's happy with it.
I need the
and
NBA.
You are too, frankly.
Go 7. NHL, go 7. Because then we hit July and it's just baseball.
Yeah.
I got love for baseball, but it's
Yeah.
just baseball in July. We got to wait till August. So, stretch this thing out as long as you can.
I have good news for you and Curtis. From ESPN's Shams Charania, ABC will televise the starting lineups tonight for the first time since the 2013 NBA
Bullying
Finals.
Works.
It does.
Waited till Game 5.
It does.
Did you guys see that this will be the final NBA Finals produced by ABC's longtime producer for the last 18 years? I think because people are like, dude, you don't know how to do your job.
Slipping.
Yeah,
He's slipping.
Get somebody else in here, buddy.
I'm just saying, it's okay to be critical about it not feeling like a big, huge deal. It does. No starting lineups, that's wild.
Give Stephen A. more time to play solitaire in the pregame. He doesn't have to talk.
He was getting a lot of flack for that.
People be tripping. You know how quickly you can play solitaire real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Also,
when I do TV, we'll be in commercials and I'll play solitaire real quick. Let me play a little solitaire.
Stephen A. is so good at his job because people don't understand that knowing sports is the second most important thing Stephen A. needs to do. The first important thing he needs to do is make you care about what he's saying. Either you like him or you hate him. His job is to make sure that you like him or you hate him, and he is so unbelievably good at it. And if you're annoyed that I'm talking about it, it means he's doing his job.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Let that man play solitaire.
He's good.
He knows what's happening. Last time I had you guys make a prediction about the series, obviously there was the opening to it when both of you were like, look, OKC's just the better team. Indy's going to have to play some of their best basketball to get this done. Then Indy pulled ahead 2-1, and we had that stat from ESPN about how teams that had pulled ahead in the series 2-1 after the series was tied 1-1 had gone on to win 80% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis found himself leaning towards Pacers. You were still feeling OKC. Check-in, temperature check. How are you two feeling now?
0-0.
Yeah, I'm not feeling great.
It's 0-0.
Curtis is back to the middle.
I'm still leaning OKC,
Leaning
unfortunately.
OKC for Bump. What's next?
Headline rewrites.
Headline number 2, the Red Sox stunned the baseball world by trading Rafael Devers to the San Francisco Giants. What's the real headline?
Credit to San Francisco for making a giant gamble.
It was a big one, and they have to do it. They're in the mix. You know who's in their division. You got the Dodgers. You got the Padres. They're spending money. They're talented. And they're in the mix. I didn't realize how much of in the mix that the Giants were because they started the season off really hot and cooled off a little bit. But no, this was a move that tells their fan base, look, we're trying to win. We're not waiting till next year. We're not hoping guys develop. We're going to go get a bat that is proven. But we know that Oracle is the third worst. Is it Oracle? Oracle Park, yeah, the third worst ballpark for hitters. So good luck over there, Devers. Hit some bombs, but probably not going to come at the same clip as they were in Boston.
From David Schoenfield, who had his write-up on this trade, the Giants haven't had a 30-home run hitter since Barry Bonds. He said, look, this is Schoenfield's prediction. He said Devers isn't going to get some of those doubles that would bounce off the green monster. Like, he's going to see that average go down. But he's still pretty confident that power is going to translate, and he guesses that they will get that kind of production from him in terms of home runs.
Hey, well, at least it's warm out, summertime.
Yeah,
you know?
If there ever was a time.
Yeah, if there's a time for you to make a move, you do it now and get hot and just go.
The Sox are going to San Francisco this weekend. I'm guaranteeing 2 Devers home runs.
I would love that for him. I would love that for him because I think while I can understand why a front office would bristle at a player who you're paying a ton of money to saying, I don't want to do that, in this case, play first, you decided to pay him. You decided to then acquire Bregman to create a sticky situation at third. Like, you made all these decisions. And you paid him that much because you already made a decision that cost you Mookie Betts. Like, you already did all of this. You did this to yourself.
Yeah, but if you look at the moves they're made, too, is with Bregman, is you're just trying to make your team better.
Yeah.
It's almost like, oh, you already have 3 receivers. All right, let's get a 4th one because he's the best one out there. But you failed to take into consideration the emotion part of
dynamics,
this. And Devers ain't about that nonsense.
Yep.
Headline rewrites.
Headline 3, Logan Gilbert is back tonight. He'll make his long-awaited return to the Mariners rotation against the Red Sox. What's the real headline?
Sorry, Shohei, but this is the return to the mound Mariners fans are a little more excited for.
Yeah, I get it. I'm double dipping today.
Yeah, you are.
We got Shohei today. We got Walter. Tomorrow we got Walter. I mean, let's go. I'm in baseball heaven right now.
Yeah, you really are. You got a lot of good stuff happening to start this week.
I like this, but I want to see Walter. Listen, I think we can expect him to look better than George Kirby, I guess, with his initial start, just because of his rehab assignments and all that good stuff. So he's in a better groove. I don't expect him to be lights out, but this is a boost that this rotation needs, man. They're getting healthier. Guys are starting to find their groove, and if Logan can come out and just look above average, this could do something for this ball club.
Ian, who are the Red Sox without Devers? He's their home run leader, but also Bregman, who's currently hurt or not hurt?
He's hurt. He pulled his quad,
cool.
So he's out for another month.
I mean, not great for him. I'm saying that facetiously.
Yeah, no, everything is
okay.
bad.
So who are they without Devers? What kind of team are the Mariners getting here? What kind of team is Logan getting for his first start back?
You're getting a team that doesn't know what's going to happen. Like, you were guaranteed every time that Devers came up to the plate, he was going to see at least 5 pitches and hit the ball hard 75% of the time. And now you've just completely removed that from your lineup equation. Everybody else is a question mark.
You know who might be the best bat in the Red Sox lineup right now?
Who that?
Abraham Toro.
Stop.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
Hitting 317 with an 884 OPS. Playing first base. Abe Toro, 5 home runs.
He had a walk-off over here, didn't he?
Yeah, I love that for
him.
him.
He had a grand slam off of Kendall Graveman.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Dolphins, Cowboys, Bengals, topping NFL headlines. That's coming your way next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
Chance to catch up with Bryce Miller. Appreciated your candor. You were coming out going, man, I haven't felt good. I don't feel good. Was it starting to become a mental thing where you're trying to compensate?
It's a tough game. It's a tough league, whenever you feel good. And you're not always going to feel 100% throughout a season, but it was just, I think I had 8 starts, and all 8, there wasn't a single start where I felt 90%.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Need a new roof, but not in the budget? A new roof doesn't have to break the bank. Justin Shirley, CEO of State Roofing and Exteriors here. Right now, State Roofing and Exteriors is offering 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for up to 24 months. That's 2 years with no payments while getting the protection your home deserves. But this offer won't last forever. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com today to get on our summer schedule now. State Roofing and Exteriors, held to a higher standard since 1968.
At Washington Energy Services, we take the time to get to know you and your home.
We have the passion and commitment to see each project through and to treat our work as more than just a job. For over 65 years, we've offered award-winning home services from heating and cooling, plumbing and electrical to windows and doors. Complete home improvement handled from start to comfort. For peace of mind when you need it most, count on Washington Energy Services, bringing good energy to your home.
LeeJohnson.com is a dynamic research tool.
We want to give the customer enough information to where they don't have to go anywhere else to research any of the questions they have. And if they want more information, we'd love to be there to help. We don't want them to feel like they're dependent on emailing us or texting us or calling us just to get the information they need. So we put it all out there. We call them digital retailing tools, big fancy calculators where you can get in there and change the terms and change the payments and change the cash down. And it'll give you a disclosure of, hey, when you do this, this means here. And a consumer can get on there and do a lot of this themselves. And then if they choose to get us involved, we can actually get involved on the backside of it and help them along the way. We want to give the consumer the same tools that we have and let them understand what we understand.
Yup, that's pretty much what you'd expect. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Keeping your engines healthy means protecting them in season and out. Experts trust Stable to do that. And third-party testing confirms it. Stable is the industry leader in preventing fuel-related issues, no matter if you use it in your car, boat, or outdoor power equipment. In season or out, at every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret? AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
Get rid of stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin with ProSculpt, the simple one-day permanent fat reduction and skin tightening treatment. Book your free consultation at prosculpt.com.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same, and that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at MazdaofEverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Live at Muckleshoot Event Center, Sunday, July 13th, 8 p.m. You've seen him on the screen. You've heard him on the radio. Now see him live for an unforgettable night. Get tickets before they sell out at MuckleshootCasino.com. Tyrese, only at Muckleshoot Casino Resort.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Taking a look around the NFL, we are going to start with the Cincinnati Bengals. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reports the Bengals and Trey Hendrickson have resumed contract talks. I mean, Bump, do they have another choice? I don't actually think so, but Jeremy says there's some optimism surrounding Hendrickson's future in Cincinnati.
Why wouldn't you make this right?
Why wouldn't you?
17 and a half sacks last year. I get that he's 30, 31 years of age. That's probably was making them pump the brakes a little bit. But your defense was garbage last year. And without him, who knows where you guys would have been. Now, the offense has to carry and do the heavy lifting, of course. But he's your centerpiece on that defense. You got to get him done. You got to get Shamar done. Don't waste a first-round pick and extend this drama. Secure that defense, please, and trade this. Just be nice.
Do you think there's anyone out there who actually thinks Hendrickson in the final year of his deal shouldn't be pushing for something else? Like, shame on you for not being out there?
It's standard practice. Last year, you're supposed to push for more money, especially when you're coming off the season that he just had.
Now, a secondary question. Myles Garrett had his contract extension with the Browns valued at up to $40 million per year. Hendrickson is set to earn $16 this year. Obviously, is not going to be playing on his current deal. You think he tops Myles Garrett's $40 million per? They're both, Garrett's 30, Hendrickson is 30.
$40 million per? Nah, I ain't touching that.
Yeah, it's interesting
Myles
because
is a bit different.
Yeah, well, and God, the Browns have so much money sunk into Deshaun Watson, but who do they have outside of that they're paying top tier money to? Whereas the Bengals have Burrow and then both wide receivers.
I don't think anyone is worth it if they are paying someone top dollar over there in Cleveland.
Yeah,
no, I don't think anyone's worth it.
It's just funny that in my mind I'm like, oh yeah, Myles Garrett, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Hendrickson's the same age. Put it up.
Bengals got more money too.
Last year. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, maybe he does. Maybe he does, and it doesn't feel right. But then you look at the numbers and go, well, he's putting up production. I don't know. We'll keep tracking that one. Dak Prescott was asked about what he hopes his legacy with the Cowboys will be.
Yeah, I want to win a championship. The legacy, the things, whatever comes after I finish playing will take care of itself. I want to win a championship. Be damned if it's just for my legacy or it's for this team, for my personal being, for my sanity. Yeah, the legacy will take care of itself. I have to stay where my feet are.
Can I say something not problematic, but a little hot takey?
Mm-hmm.
I think if he truly, I hate this take so much, I can't believe I'm saying it. You can probably guess where I'm going. I hate this take. But I think if he cared that much about winning a Super Bowl over everything, you wouldn't be the top paid quarterback in football. Like, you and your agent pushed for that $60 million per year contract. And the Giants gave it to you. You know what I mean? That's on the Jones family. Like, they gave you that contract. You earned that money. You and your agent fought for that money. But I don't know, Dak, it's okay to say you care about legacy. You do. It mattered to you to be the highest
Dak
paid.
is always going to say the right things. He's not going to give you him and like Jalen Hurts aren't going to give you anything you can really run with. You can look at the play on the field and talk about the contracts and whatnot, but he's not going to give you a soundbite. I think that he does care about legacy.
Yes.
I think that he does want to win a Super Bowl, and I think that he does want to be paid. I think all three can be true, and it doesn't make him a bad person. It's his time to get paid. You go ahead and try to get that. But, yeah, he's not going to give you anything, man. These guys are coached up and polished. He's been in the league, 8-9 years now, something like that. He knows what to say and what not to say, but he definitely cares. You're not a NFL quarterback, a starting NFL quarterback, and not care about your legacy. You are the face of the team. You're one of the faces of the NFL. Yeah, you're fine. You can lean into that. I'm good.
Yeah, I think you should lean in. Lean in, Dak. Just lean into being like, of course I do. I think everyone does. Do you care about your legacy as a random reporter? I'm sure you do. I'm sure it matters to you to have journalistic integrity or to have people know that you wrote something. Like, that's just a normal yes. And I don't know. I was just saying, I think Dak pushing for the money that he believes he's worth and that number being the highest, I think you do. I think you do, Dak. Dolphins pass rusher Bradley Chubb missed all of 2024, but he didn't feel like enough guys on last year's team were actually bought in?
I'm gonna say last year we was lying, honestly. Point blank period. We felt it. You know what I mean? We put our toe in the water, but we didn't dive all the way in. We didn't get all the way there with each other. You know what I mean? We weren't making the effort to do go the extra mile. And I would say this year we're doing that. I'm not sure how it's gonna turn out for us, but we are putting that foot to change it, because last year, like I said, we said we wanted to change. Yeah, we're doing this, we're doing that, but it's not going exactly how we want to. But this year, I feel like everybody has the right mindset and moving forward. You know what I mean? So if it works out, it's going to work out. If it doesn't, we're going to get back to the drawing board and make sure it works out. You know what I mean?
Did you sense with last year's Dolphins a feeling of giving up or energy leaving?
I wouldn't say giving up, and I'm not around the team enough to make that assumption, but it felt like they didn't have the passion and the pop that they had years prior. And a lot of that has to do with the guys in the locker room, with the coaches as well. I'll tell you one thing, who I should have put on the seat getting warm, I'll probably do it in the second round of 4-down territory, is Mike McDaniels.
Yeah.
Because there's too much talent over there for them not to be playoff teams every single year. And but you got to have your quarterback stay healthy. This is the type of accountability I like, though. We listen to Davey Martinez come out and say the coaches never do anything. It's always on the players, which I totally disagree with. This is healthy right here. Look, we didn't do what we were supposed to do. Guys weren't bought in, and this is from a leader out there. So I like this. You own your part of the situation and hope that things get better.
How do you think the football locker room would react if a coach went to his podium for his Monday press conference and said, hey, my coaches are doing their jobs. We can't go out there and throw the ball and catch the ball and run for a first down?
Yeah, they might not practice. They might boycott practice and say, oh, yeah? Okay, but it also we also understand that coaches in football have way more influence than baseball. But either way, any sport, any level, you never come out and just put it all on the players.
I cannot believe. I know that was 5 segments ago, but I cannot believe how blatantly he said that.
Yeah.
We aren't doing anything. Look at the players. I've never heard something like that before. Have you guys ever heard something like that before?
Nah.
No?
Not in American. Like soccer coaches, European soccer coaches are pretty high and mighty and will pass the buck, but not at football.
I feel like that's something a manager says when he's kind of hoping to get fired. Just get me out of here. I'm done with this group.
Sauce Gardner was a surprise participant at Jets camp now that he's eligible for a contract extension, but Sauce says he wants to help change culture in the building.
Man, I just wanted to show my teammates, show the coaches how much I'm bought into this, man. I want to win. I want to change the organization. I want to be a part of changing the organization. We got a new regime, AG, his whole coaching staff that he brought in, Moogie, just great guys. And I feel like Mr. Johnson did a great job of getting those type of guys to be here, and I feel like they're doing a great job in changing the culture for sure.
What do you think about Sauce's motive here?
I think he's leading by example. Mm-hmm. I think he understands that there's a change happening. And when you have major moves being made, we got a new head coach over there, your stars have to be in attendance. They have to be a part of this. So, no, I like this. This is an approach that I wouldn't expect from Sauce. I don't know him personally, obviously, but he projects a little bit of DB selfishness, and I was wrong, because this is a move that shows he's committed to this change of being a leader out there.
Well, and I don't think that we're always honest about the risk that players assume when they do stuff like that. I'm a young guy. This is when I'm probably going to get the most money I'll ever make. And I'm going out there knowing that if I get hurt, I'm taking millions off the top.
Yep.
I'm not getting that money. And it's not because, and it's not because this company's going to think I'm not worth it, but they're going to say, well, we're giving you a 4-year deal. You can't play for a year.
You can't use your services this year.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Colts co-owner Charlie Gordon shared the interesting reason for why she wears a headset on game days.
One of the things that I learned in going through, even as back as when we hired Chuck Pagano, is that sort of accelerated I need to learn more about this. I need to be able to say, is this person full of BS? Do they even know what they're talking about? And I think one of the things that being on the headset has really helped me learn is, to the question earlier, it's such a complex organism, a football team and how it operates, and on game day, and you could say, oh, that person ran that route wrong, when you learn to find, oh, someone tagged the wrong wide receiver, And it wasn't really the player's fault. It was the person that called it. So I think that's been a very valuable, because it also helps us be able to know where do we need to make tweaks? What resources do we need? What do we need to fix? So much of it comes down to just how we operate and how things work. And the headsets are really, I would suggest it for anyone else that has to pay coaches and GMs millions and millions of dollars. It helps you make a less expensive mistake potentially.
Carly, not Charlie. Wearing the headsets too.
Intentions are good.
Yeah.
Micromanaging like a mug.
Yeah.
Let your coaches coach. Right? We can't even speak the way we want to with the owners on the headsets. I get it. Like, she wants to learn and she wants to, allocate money correctly and see who's doing what. But listen, man, that is micromanaging to the fullest. Let your head coach handle that stuff. Ask the right questions. Sit in on some meetings if you want to.
Yeah.
But game day, sit back, let these coaches move without the threat of the owner listening to everything that they're saying, because those headsets get wild sometimes.
Yes, well, and agree, regardless of, before anyone pushes back, if Stephen Jones was doing this with the Cowboys, I'd say that was too much. You know what I mean? If just any owner, like, listening in every day, because when you only have the context of that conversation, you might actually, ironically, be missing out on some other really important details.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it.
Intentions
I get
are good.
Her thought. Yeah.
I get it, but it's like, nah, let your coaches coach freely.
The 2025 MLB All-Star Ballot is open. Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew need your help to secure a spot in this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote up to 5 times per day, every day through June 26 at MLB.com/vote. Has Emerson Hancock cemented his spot in this rotation? That's next.
Wyman and Bob, afternoons 2 to 7.
In Cal, you're seeing a superstar start to develop. He's starting to get that national recognition. It's always been, when you talk about the Mariners, you'd sort of talk about the rotation as a whole. Sure. Talking about an individual, it's been Julio. And it feels like Cal is starting to move into that spot. Now, here's the thing. Neither, by baseball standards, are being paid as a superstar.
Dave Wyman and Bob Stelton, afternoons 2 to 7 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
Do you have a car you want to sell, but you just don't want to go through all the hassle? I don't blame you. With all the scams and security risks out there, more and more people just aren't comfortable selling their own car. So what do you do if you want to get the most money for your car without selling it yourself? Stacy here with the answer. It's Wayscar Ford in Auburn. Not only will they purchase your used car and pay you right up front for it, but once they resell your old car, they share half the profit with you. The question I get most from friends is, well, what's the catch? But there isn't one. Here's how it works. This program means Wayscar Ford saves money by not traveling to buy cars at auction, which means not paying purchase fees or shipping fees or travel expenses. Now they can just share that saved money with you, their customer, rather than outside vendors. It's a win-win. They encourage you to shop around, but look, if Wayscar Ford can pay the same or more as competitors and share half their profit with you once they resell your car, why would you go anywhere else? They've already shared over $800,000 with customers. It's only at Wayscar Ford in Auburn, wayscarford.com.
Imagine finding your dream home and moving in right away. No waiting to sell your old place first. Sounds perfect, right? That's exactly what Orchard's Move First, Sell Later program lets you do. Buy your new home now and sell the old one later. Here's how it works. Orchard gives you cash so you can buy and move into your new home first, on your timeline. No waiting, no showings, no double moves. Then the Orchard experts take it from there. They handle repairs on your old home for you so you attract the right buyers. Once they're done, a local Orchard agent lists and sells your home for top dollar. Orchard's Move First program gives you the freedom to buy and move into your new home first and sell your old home later. Buy before you sell and get top dollar for your home with Orchard. Ready to find out how much your home is worth? Visit Orchard.com to get your free home valuation. That's Orchard.com.
Brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. Navy Federal offers a home buyer's choice loan that can open the door to affordable home ownership because their home buyer's choice loan has no down payment options available, which means you don't need to wait years to save. Plus, you may be able to lower your rate in the future without refinancing with our no refi rate drop. Learn more at NavyFederal.org. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Terms and conditions apply. Equal housing lender. Loan subject to approval and eligibility requirements. Learn more at NavyFederal.org.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contests are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on seattlesports.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
The home of the Mariners.
It is gone! Cal Raleigh, 2-run home run!
Hear every pitch on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
This is for all you guys on Viagra. ED pills are no longer needed. The brutal side effects like 4-hour headaches, blurred vision, and that flush feeling can all be put behind you with our treatment. Here at West Coast Men's Health, we have a better approach to ED. Acoustic wave therapy creates blood flow circulation by safely removing the plaque in your arteries and restoring function naturally. Guys, let me be clear. Pills will never fix your problem. Our equipment is the latest technology, and our medical staff is the best in the industry. So give West Coast Men's Health a call today. Speak with our clinic manager. Ask him any question you like, how it works, the science behind it, and even the cost. If you suffer from ED or Peyronie's disease, give West Coast Men's Health a call today. It's not just about better health, it's about a better life.
With clinics in Redmond and Tacoma, call 206-519-6541. That's 206-519-6541. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software. Upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
In 6/22/25, new customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
I see you, Emerson Hancock, pitching 7 shutout. Just 2 hits allowed, 4 strikeouts for him. Has he cemented a spot in this rotation? Let's go back a little bit to not just Emerson's day.
Emerson is ready. The 2-2. Did he go? Checked his swing. He did not. He is punched out. He did not check his swing. He goes, and Emerson Hancock, his 4th strikeout of the game, a brilliant day here against Cleveland. He's gone 7 innings, and he's kept Cleveland scoreless on just 2 hits. A magnificent outing for Emerson Hancock.
And how about what manager Dan Wilson said about him?
You know, with the injuries that we've had to the starters and the role that he has played, he stepped right up. And, you know, giving us 7 today was huge. I mean, it's just flat out huge. I think, you know, we've talked about it a lot. He's got good stuff. You know, he's got the 95 plus with the sink to it. He's got a 4-seamer. He's got the changeup and slider. But it's more his approach mentally where he goes. And you could see it again today. He just was out there attacking. And it was a special outing for him today. And you know, again, like I said, it was very timely. We really needed it.
Bump, has Emerson Hancock started to cement, or maybe already cemented, his role in this rotation?
Oh, it's been cemented for me.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, started off rough on the year. Started off against Detroit, I believe. had a tough outing, got lit up, and we're thinking, oh, man, the young man, he's struggling, but then has bounced back. He's got a few quality starts, and that's something that this team has been missing this year. Last year, they were top 5 last year when it comes to quality starts, so that last one was huge for him. No, I think he's in. Unfortunately, I think Bryce Miller's out. It's Emerson Hancock who is in. And that's a good problem to have, because then now what do you do with Bryce Miller, right? You rehab him, you try to get him back, or is he one of those pieces you use when it comes to a trade? Has Emerson done enough for you to make you look at Bryce and say, I don't know, maybe we could use it as a piece? It's a tough position to be in if you are the guys making the decisions, but this is what they do. They develop arms. That's one thing you can hang your hat on if you're the Mariners, is that you have found a formula that works for you. So it's cool to see Emerson. He's in the rotation.
Let's talk about the improvements he's made this season. Here's Cal Raleigh from the Cal Raleigh Show.
Nobody ever figures it out, like I said before, but he's figured out who he is as a pitcher and how he wants to go about it, and how he wants to get guys out. And a lot of times, it takes that from within. You got to figure out, who you are and how you see yourself, and how are you going to stick here in the big leagues, and how are you going to be able to make yourself into an everyday big leaguer. And I think that's what you're kind of seeing with him. He's using his stuff a little differently this year and years past, and really trusting his fastballs and trusting his location and where he's trying to throw the ball, and mixing in a slider changeup as well. So I think the big thing is he's just trusting himself and going out there with whatever happens, and I'm going to fail or succeed the way I want to.
I think I still need to see a little bit more, and it's because people that I know a lot about baseball felt like Emerson Hancock is the 6th guy. Like, they had Bryce Miller above Emerson. However, Bryce Miller has not been great. He's been dealing with injuries. Maybe they do. Have they already done surgery with Bryce, or is that something they're just ruminating over?
Still waiting. Dipoto was on MLB Network like 5 minutes ago saying 4 to 6 weeks, we'll see how he responds.
So maybe what it ends up being is that Emerson cements that role because he kind of has to be that guy.
He's got time now. I mean, he's not looking over his shoulder anymore. And what does that do? It can do 2 things. It can allow him to really settle down into this position and start to own it, because there's something to be said when you're going to be that guy every 5th day. And then there's something to be said when you're constantly looking over your shoulder and feeling like I can't make too many mistakes because there's a guy named Miller who's waiting to take my spot. So 4 to 6 weeks will be enough time for us to really evaluate and see, all right, is he the guy? Going off what we've seen so far, there's no reason why he shouldn't be the guy. But it's also like Miller hasn't gotten a fair shot either because he's just been banged up. But this is it's a gift for one, it's a curse for the other one. And I assume that Emerson is going to take this opportunity and run with it.
And absolutely build on what he's been doing. Here's how Emerson says each start is building up on the next one.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's good for, I guess, confidence, but at the same time, it's good to just show that we can go out there and execute. But again, it's on to the next one. It was a huge game, going into it, because you got a sweep on the line. You don't get a chance to do that very often, and I wanted to do that for our guys, and I wanted to go out there and give everything I could, and we were able to do that today. Guys made some great swings. We played great defense, and we got the shutout, and it's on to the next one.
Again, when would Emerson's next start be? Curtis,
I believe it'll be in Chicago against the Cubs.
So that's tough.
So probably Friday's
tough,
my
but a day
guess.
game.
Yeah,
Okay.
Friday or Saturday.
Okay, we'll see what happens there, obviously. Storyline we're continuing to track here because it's unexpected. Like, you thought that you'd have a much healthier starting rotation, that Emerson maybe gets some time, but you're just kind of wondering, what do you do with him? Do you trade him? Maybe they should have traded Emerson Hancock. Lo and behold, not only do they need Emerson, but he's playing really, really well. Pitched his best game. And obviously get another shot here against a very good National League team later in the week. The 2025 MLB All-Star Ballot is open. Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew need your help to secure a spot at this year's Midsummer Classic in Atlanta. You can vote up to 5 times per day, every day through June 26 at MLB.com/vote. One MLB voice says the Mariners have the pieces and the motive for a big trade, but will they actually do it? That's next.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10.
We did a lot of baseball to talk with Jeff Passan today.
This is now a 29-game stretch where we're 11-18. Who are these Mariners on June 10th?
They're the team that at the beginning of the season we thought they were going to be and that they can't hit. Like, if Cal Raleigh is not in this lineup right now, I mean, I don't even know. It would look like the Rockies.
Brock and Salk, morning 6 to 10 on Seattle Sports, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at mazdaofeverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
You're free now. Free to stream beyond your wildest dreams.
Rom-coms, slasher-coms, space operas.
Free to fill your feed with impossibly chonky chonkers.
Cats, corgis, babies on demand.
Free to make your smart devices do silly things.
Bowl of chips on the Robo-Vacuum.
Free to open a world of remote work and Gametopia.
Who's the boss now?
Free to be everything you imagine. That's how it feels to have Quantum Fiber Internet. Your world unleashed. Learn more at quantumfiber.com.
Limited availability, service in select locations only.
This is the story of the one. As a lineman, he does whatever it takes to keep the power on in his community. And he wants a partner like Grainger who does the same. Grainger offers the professional-grade products he needs, from voltage detectors to harnesses to hard hats, plus fast, dependable delivery, so he can rise to every challenge. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Jane has 150,000 miles on her truck, and she's proud of that. Jane's secret, AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help her find the right parts. Jane's brother Josh only cares that his car starts and goes, but when it doesn't, he also goes to AutoZone, where friendly AutoZoners help with free services. No hassles, just help. Everything you need, nothing you don't. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Restrictions apply.
If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has plans built just for you. 2 lines of unlimited for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings compared to Verizon and AT&T. But don't just take our word for it.
It's not just the savings that are great with our T-Mobile plan. There's all this value from all these other things that T-Mobile offers.
T-Mobile has been such a savings for us.
We love it. Switch today and get 2 free 5G phones like the Motorola Edge with Turbo Power charging that gives you power for the day in just 15 minutes. And customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Go to T-Mobile.com/55 to learn more. With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 new lines with autopay for well-qualified customers, plus taxes, fees, and $35 per line connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us, plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. See details at T-Mobile.com. Motorola Edge requires 68-watt charger. Chargers sold separately. Actual performance will vary based on usage and configuration.
Kick off your 4th of July weekend with a Mariners fireworks show at Seattle's summer home, T-Mobile Park. It's a Mariners patriotic party. Thursday, July 3rd, presented by T-Mobile.
Fly ball right field. Sailing back. Gone! Legend, Cal Raleigh.
Catch Cal and the crew take on the Royals at 7:10. Then stick around as the sky explodes with red, white, and boom. Fireworks and Mariners baseball. That's 2 spectacular shows in one unforgettable night.
J.P. Crawford with a walk-off single. Holy smokes, what a finish.
Lock in your seats now at mariners.com/fireworks and check out the full fireworks lineup this summer, including an 80s night on July 18th and Show Tunes theme on August 1st. Plus, don't miss big-time giveaways like patriotic trucker hats on July 4th and J.P. Crawford basketball jerseys on July 5th. Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
You've heard the saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Since 1926, my family's been helping local businesses make great first, second, and long-term impressions. We know how to make your company look good with quality uniforms, logoed apparel, floor mats, linens, and more. If you're paying for linen service or doing it yourself, let's have the conversation. The information and quote are free, but the savings and service can really add up. Visit suplinen.com. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do.
Hey, baseball fans, Rick Riz here. I'm excited to introduce you to my good friend Keith Dashafy, owner of Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Keith?
Thanks, Rick. At Pella Windows and Doors, we pride ourselves on delivering top-quality windows and doors that enhance the beauty and energy efficiency of your home. Our products are built to last with innovative designs and exceptional craftsmanship. Whether you're looking to upgrade your windows or install new doors, Pella has you covered.
That's fantastic, Keith. Don't wait. Schedule your free appointment today at PellaPNW.com.
Let's go! This is Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app.
KIRO AM Seattle. KIRO FM HD2 Tacoma. Home of the Seahawks, Mariners, and everything Seattle sports. Seattle Sports Snapshot.
The Pacers and Thunder meet tonight for Game 5 of the NBA Finals. OKC 9.5-point favorites in this one. Series tied at 2-all. Tip-off at 5:30 p.m.
Snapshot, brought to you by Miller Lite. When it's game time, it's Miller time.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bump and Stacy.
On Seattle Sports.
Streaming through the Seattle Sports app and at seattlesports.com.
Now, here are your hosts, Michael Bumpus and Stacy Ross. Here we go now.
I'm getting into it with someone on the text line who refuses to believe that anyone on the planet likes Stephen A. Smith. I said, well, I know a lot of people who like him. They said, name 10. Oh, God. One MLB voice says the Mariners have the pieces and the motive for a big trade. They just need a partner. That should be easy enough, right? Aaron Goldsmith was on Brock and Salk this morning, and maybe because of the Devers trade with Boston, maybe because this team is coming off a sweep and we're now a month and change out from the trade deadline, wondering if they're going to do something. Trade talk is just top of mind for a lot of Mariners fans. Let's go over some of what Goldsmith had to say. I will eventually get to the trade stuff. First, on the biggest surprises so far.
I was looking at his numbers the other day compared to his career season 2 years ago. Average noticeably higher, on base noticeably higher, which is like stunning based on how good he was in those categories 2 years ago. Power is down, not a ton, but he hit almost 20 home runs, and he has 6 now as we near the midway point. I think we'd all agree, I don't need JP Crawford to hit 20 home runs. It'd be awesome. Don't need him to do it. Would love him just to get on base and spray the ball, and he's doing that better than anybody. If you told me coming into this year that JP's career year would be 2025, not 2023, I'd say, whoa, that is very surprising.
Bump, that was, JP, exactly what stood out to you from this series, and you would argue from a couple weeks now. Just JP, maybe quietly, as is something JP is going to do, is just kind of like a more quiet player in terms of what he's going to do. He's having a really solid year.
He's third in the bigs when it comes to on-base percentage. He is going to get on. That's exactly what he does. 6 bombs this year. A couple years ago, he had 19. Like Gold, you just said, we don't need him to have a whole bunch of home runs, man. You just get on base, spray the ball everywhere, and allow these guys to drive you in. Or if that bottom of the order gets going, you drive some runs in with a grand slam like you did the other day. No, JP is low-key having like an all-star kind of season, but no one's really talking about him that much. Average is at, 296 right now. OPS is around 824. WAR is about 2.7. I think his best year was around 2.7. No, he's having himself quietly a good year, and it's crazy to say that it's quiet because JP's game in his aura isn't quiet. It's like a look at me kind of out there type of feel. But for some reason, with Cal doing what he's been doing, with Julio being who he is, even with Polanco having the start to the season he had, JP's kind of been lost in this mix. So I think credit is due. And when you guys start voting for All-Stars, I don't think he gets in, but go ahead and give JP some of your votes.
Yeah, it's just like the type of hitter, too. Like, he's not going to hit a lot of bombs. I know I'm saying this after he just got a grand slam on Father's Day, his first Father's Day, but, he's not a guy that's going to hit for power. He's just going to pretty consistently get on base, or at least the problem has been this team, if they had a little more power, a little more pop in the lineup, could take advantage of JP in a better way.
Yeah.
JP will get on first. Maybe if bases are loaded, he'll knock in a run with an RBI single. Maybe he'll draw a walk. but like he's not a guy that's typically, I know he's coming off of one, going to hit a grand slam or going to be the power in your lineup. And if there were a team that was hitting more consistently around him, he'd be an incredibly useful weapon because he's going to get on base and extend that inning.
Yeah, he's a guy that keeps things moving. And I don't know, Stacy, you probably didn't spend many miles riding your bike across town. I used to ride my bike like 10 miles from the house when I was growing up in the summertime. And every now and then your chain would come off. You got to flip your bike upside down and put your chain back on or whatnot. That's who JP is. Like, even when things aren't going great, he's able to flip the bike upside down, put the chain back on, and keep it moving. You probably never done that before, huh? Flip
Absolutely
your bike upside down?
No.
Please tell me you guys have done that.
I spent all of Father's Day yesterday working on my bike with my dad.
What does it do?
It's just you can
down.
get at it easier. Like
Yeah.
all the underneath stuff is up at the top
I'm
because it's
just not
upside
a
down.
bike person.
Yeah, I figured.
I have a Peloton in my gym.
You can't flip that upside down. That's hundreds of dollars.
Goldsmith on the keys for the Mariners in this Red Sox series.
Seeing what happens when the Mariners can get back to their identity. And to me, that's what the issue with the Mariners was. They did not have an identity for a month, and we haven't been able to say that for a while. When they can pitch it, good things happen. Like, we all want to see the offense get back to some 60% version of what April was, 70% version of what April was. But none of that matters if they can't pitch it. Like, offensively, they were okay on the road trip. They hit like close to 300 on the road trip. They went 1-5. Their pitching was terrible. When they can pitch it, specifically in their rotation, good things happen for this team. So I think for the Mariners, it has for a long time, and it will continue to start with the starting pitching.
All right, so it starts with the starting pitching for Goldsmith. Again, in theory, your ace is on the mound tonight. Let's see how he looks. Bump, what's your key for this series for the Mariners?
What's the key?
I mean, you could go with pitching as well.
It's ride the wave, like we opened the show up.
Oh, yeah, I got the cut for you, right?
Just ride the wave. Yeah, let's do it.
This is the way.
I finally found
There it is.
Oh, thank you.
Ride the wave, because this team has shown that there are going to be certain individuals to lead the charge. And I think we've seen Polanco, we've seen Cal, we've seen JP. It's Julio's turn now. Julio's kind of been just, in the wave. He hasn't been the wave. He's just in the wave. And I think maybe it's time for him to kind of do his thing as well. So that's going to be key, is just ride the hot bat. Logan, be good, be solid on the mound, and take advantage of a team that seems like they're just weakened right now, because clearly they are weakened, right? You lose one of the best bats in the game. Take advantage of this situation. If you could come back with another sweep, I know I'm asking a lot now, but if you can come back with another sweep, who do the Astros have this week? Let me pull up the Astros. Who are they rocking with? Because we got to catch these dudes.
I know they have one of the easier
They got the A's.
remaining
They got
schedules.
the A's.
Kills
Sacramento.
me.
All right, so
They might have the easiest remaining schedule.
yeah, they're going A's, Angels, and then Philly. So yeah, you gotta keep up at this point.
Someone said, what happened to Matt Nelson? Did he get fired for being a nerd? They
got
him.
him.
They got him. I'm adding that to my list of great texts. Okay. Absolutely agree with Bump. Ride the hot hand. This is the way. You're not a team that is necessarily going to be able to win the same way and impose your will on everyone else. You kind of got to go with what's working. And if what's working becomes ideally, hey, Julio gets hot, or hey, JP's really hot, you're going to ride the JP wave for a while, and one person, has to contribute, then that's what they go with. Yeah, I think also, please no complete bullpen collapses. If I could put in just one quick request for something I wouldn't like to see a ton of as the season goes on. Speaking of a bullpen collapse, it's probably an area this Mariners team is going to need to add at the trade deadline. Aaron Goldsmith was asked about whether the Mariners can or should or will be aggressive.
They have all the incentive, more than any other team practically, in terms of getting back to the playoffs and proving that what they have built works. Like, the incentive and the motivation is there. They have the pieces to do it. In addition to that, they have a front office that has proven to make major impactful moves, specifically at the deadline, like two cornerstone pieces in Castillo and Arozarena, to name the obvious ones. Like, there's a track record there. If they can make a move, I feel more confident on that than anything that they will. But I think the important thing to remember when it comes to the deadline or any trade of any kind, it takes two, man. It takes two. So if there's a deal to be made that is impactful, I have no doubt for all the reasons listed that the Mariners will do that. It's just a matter of can they find the right partner and the right pieces.
This is where I get hung up when it comes to this team. We have heard from multiple people now that the trade deadline is just harder with that expanded playoff spot because more and more teams feel like they're going to be in it. In the American League, that's going to include teams that are hovering at or maybe a little bit below 500 that still think we can still become a wild card team.
Yeah.
I truly don't know who a trade partner could be unless you wanted to take all of the Rockies roster, I guess.
I mean, there's a reason why that team isn't good, right?
Yeah.
It's not like they're
who do you want from their team that's
walking
going to help
around
you?
with a bunch of all-stars over there.
Right.
No, there's and that's the tough part about this too, is that my gut feeling is that the Mariners are going to have to get creative like they do with their roster at the beginning of the season, bringing over a Solano, trusting in Polanco. And so if these teams are bottom feeders, they're bottom feeders for a reason. Every team has a baller or two, but is that person going to be good enough to give you that extra push that you need? I don't know at this point. The name that I keep hearing is O'Hearn. And does Baltimore think they're completely out of it yet? I don't know yet. I think when I look up the standings, I think they're like 6 or 7 games, I think, outside of a wild card spot. They're one run away from getting back in the mix. So it's a waiting game. You just got to wait and see who else is out there. But yes, it's important to remember that the bad teams are the ones who are selling.
How do we feel about potential trades with the A's or Angels? I feel like it's somewhat unlikely. Are the Angels one of the teams the Mariners?
Yeah, Dipoto's never made a trade with the Angels.
His former team. Because here's the thing. If the Mariners were not in the AL West, I'd be looking at the A's and Angels as two potential trade partners for some names there. But I don't know that they'd make a deal with you. So that also eliminates. You know what I mean? So that also eliminates people. You know, have teams that are hovering around 500. They're going to think they're in this thing. Then you have teams that are in your division that would otherwise be partners that aren't going to touch you.
Nah, they're not going to help the homie. Not even the homie. They're going to help the ops.
Really
the
unfortunate.
direct ops? Nah, they ain't going to do that.
From the 253, the fact that we didn't go after Devers when we absolutely could have says everything about us not being contenders. I think that they just didn't want to spend that much on a DH.
Well, and how many teams knew that Devers was available?
Yeah. Yes.
It happened so quickly. Like there were usually you hear little rumors and buzz, but we got absolutely nothing. That was not on my radar at all.
I think we just know things the Mariners won't do. The Mariners aren't going to overpay for a DH. They're just not. The Mariners are not super comfortable giving out long-term deals. They like those short-term, cheaper deals in free agency. They may not be comfortable with rentals. Like, there are going to be limitations of just things they're not comfortable with. Now, should they make themselves uncomfortable once in a while? Yeah. We can't control whether or not they do, but we think they probably will have to. But what's uncomfortable look like for them? Maybe it looks a bit different. Maybe for the Giants, it was taking on a massive contract for a DH. Maybe for the Mariners, it's a little different.
Uncomfortable for the Mariners is talking about Dylan and arm. Because that's what they love. That's what they do is develop these arms. I think an arm and then a prospect, because it seems like they're reluctant to really deal some of these guys because they are in fear of them reaching their full potential somewhere else, which I get and understand. But yeah, uncomfortable would be like, hey man, what you think about Bryce? Is he good? You guys trust that he's gonna heal? Of course, Harry's gonna be in the mix every time, even a Logan Evans. You know, like that's what's uncomfortable for them, but that's what's going to bring them back. The more established ball players, if you do get uncomfortable and talk about some of your arms, fortunately for you, you have about 6 or 7 of them things that are working. 5 are going to be untouchable. The bottom 2, I think you answer the phone.
Nelson says the Mariners need to offer the Guardians a haul for Jose Ramirez. He's got 3 years, $70 million left on his deal. Guardians are going nowhere. I just want to know what a haul looks like. And I don't know that the Guardians would do that, would they? Is Jose Ramirez even rumored to be?
No, I haven't heard anything about a trade with him.
I think that it's always easy to, maybe I'm wrong, Nelson, maybe I'll be proven wrong. I think it's always easy to look at a very, very good player on a team that just is clearly not going to be a World Series winner and go, they probably want to deal that guy. But do they? We had this entire conversation about Vlad for a year and a half. For a year and a half, we had this conversation about Vlad. Oh, I think the Blue Jays should rebuild. You got to move on from Vlad. You don't want to pay him that much money. And then you know what they did?
They paid him that much money.
They paid him a ton of money.
They paid him
because
$500 million.
They recognized that, like, this is our best player.
Well,
this is our star.
I think, too, with Jose Ramirez, he signed on a significantly discounted deal, but I think it showed, like, I want to be in Cleveland. Like, I don't want to be anywhere else. I want to be here, and I don't want to go to any other team. So if you do try to make a trade for him, I don't know if he's got a no-trade clause or not, but that's a dude that really likes playing in Cleveland. So you're going to have to convince him to go elsewhere if that were the case.
And this is where someone like Jerry Dipoto would chime in and say, well, are you making yourself weaker to make one part of your team that much better? So Nelson says, make them an offer they have to say yes to. They aren't winning anything anytime soon. What's that offer look like, and how much worse does it make you short term?
Yeah. Because to get Ramirez, man, you're giving up ballers. You're giving up ballers. You're giving up prospects. They're going to try to check every single box when it comes to the things that they can get
Like,
for
would
him.
you give up Logan and more for Jose Ramirez? Well, now you're in a bit of a pickle where you're wondering whether Bryce is going to be great long term. Are you going to be able to keep George Kirby here? Is he going to, you know what I mean? Like, in an ideal world, they could deal a ton of these prospects.
Mm-hmm.
You built up a great farm system. Not all these guys are going to work out, and it is going to be very uncomfortable for Jerry to deal from that farm. But that's your best bet. Our team's biting with prospects. That's where I'm stuck.
Prospects with a sprinkle of a position player on top. That's what it's going to take. And I think they want to hold on to those arms.
Yeah. Nelson says Emerson, Ford, Miller, and more. I do it all day. I think it's going to take more than that. I don't know.
For Jose Ramirez, probably more. Yeah.
I think it would take a current major league arm. I don't know what they're.
Well, I don't know if he means Emerson Hancock or Colt Emerson.
I think he means Emerson Hancock. It has to
if he means Colt Emerson, Harry Ford, Bryce Miller, and more. I think it. I don't know. I'm no GM. I just feel like as though it may take more than that, and maybe I'm an idiot. Watch that deal.
It didn't take much to get Devers.
Well, listen, your team paid Devers a lot of money that they didn't want to pay
and the
Devers.
reason why Devers moved for such a small trade package is the Giants are willing to assume the rest of his contract.
So for anyone like, well, it only took a couple prospects. Well, and taking on the rest of a 10-year deal. So, 7 years remaining? No, 8 years remaining.
Like halfway through the second year.
Cool. So, again, we'll see what happens there. All right. Still to come, what I need to know at 1:45. Get your questions in, 866-979-3776. Let's get to 4 Down territory.
This is 4 Down territory, going inside the game with former Seahawks and Coug wide receiver Michael Bumpus.
First down, we got an update on the Shamar Stewart situation in Cincy. Fill us in.
Threats are being thrown out there now.
Oh, no.
Shamar is like, man, I just won't play next season. And listen,
That's
I would
crazy.
say, young man, I get you want to make a point. I get that the Bengals are a shady organization when it comes to paying their players, but you don't want to miss out on a $10 million signing bonus. You get $19 million overall. And if you were to sit out a year and then try to get drafted next year, you're not going to make the same amount. So, I understand that you're trying to prove a point. And someone has to be this type of pioneer in these situations, especially for the Bengals in the way they handle their situations. If he does sign the current contract that they're offering, his First Amendment is gone. And they say if you say anything shady about this organization, you will get fined. So it's just all dirty over there. It's set up for Shamar to sign this contract, and then when it's time to go, he's leaving. He's not going to want to get extended. He's not going to want to be a part of this organization. He also sees the way they're treating Trey Henderson, one of the best defensive linemen in the game, 17.5 sacks last year. This whole thing is messy. So the threat is that he's going to sit out, but I wouldn't recommend that if I were you. Get your signing bonus, get through your contract, and handle it that way, even though the Bengals are doing some shady stuff.
Second down. Coach McDonald spoke about the wide receiver position last week. Were there any surprises?
No real surprises. He announces Jason is the number 1 guy. We knew that. You got Cup after him, and then you have MVS. But he did say that 4th receiver spot is going to be wide open, and it should, because there's no one there that's really established. The 4 names that are really going to be competing for those spots, or that one spot, is Bobo. You got Horton, Ricky White, the 3rd, and then you have Derek Young. If you want to be that number 4 receiver, you have to play special teams. That's why Jake Bubble has the edge at this point. He played in 66% of special team snaps last year. Jake Bubble, not the fastest, not the strongest, but was going out there and making tackles. The other guy, Derek Young, played in 49% of special team snaps. He is the more dynamic type of receiver when it comes to being a receiver and on special teams, but Bubble just makes plays, man. And then Ricky White had 3 block kicks when he was at the University of Las Vegas. And Horton is a true receiver. Like, I don't imagine him going down and making tackles. He's just a true type of receiver. Can he return kicks? Maybe. Can he return punts? I don't think so. It doesn't seem like he has that type of skill set. But no, if there's a battle that you want to watch unfold during the preseason, check out that number 4 receiver spot. Bobo, Horton, Ricky White, and Derek Young will be competing. Don't want to forget Cody White as well, a guy who has been forgotten ever since his breakout game against the Rams last year.
Which they lost, so then he got forgotten again.
Yep.
That's a crowded room.
It is.
Really crowded room. Third down. Let's talk hot seat. Which coaches are on the hot seat this season?
I got to start with Tomlin. It's been a while since he's won a playoff game, 2016. He is almost guaranteed to be at least 500, but now it's time to win. You got a veteran quarterback. You have DK Metcalf over there. Your defense has been solid the past couple of years. Tomlin is warm. I think the Rooneys, they are loyal over there in Pittsburgh, but his seat is definitely warm. And then I'm looking at Canales. Last year, you started the season with Bryce Young. You sit him down for a bit. You end the season with Bryce Young. His last 4 games, he looked like an NFL quarterback. Canales was brought to the Panthers for this right here. Develop your quarterback. Can you do that? His seat was going to be warm as well, not too hot. You have Zach Taylor, and this is the most egregious one to me because he will be the scapegoat if Cincinnati does not put together a good season. Even though it ain't all on him. The personnel ain't been on point. You're not handling the contracts the way you should. But Zach Taylor, if they go out and they don't produce and win ball games, his seat's going to be warm. And last one might be Daniels with the Miami Dolphins. Too much talent over there for you not to have success. And the jacked up part about this situation is his quarterback could just get banged up, and he has to go to Zach Wilson or Quinn Ewers or Gabbard, and they're still going to look at him and say, look, man, get this done. You got Tyreek Hill. You have Waddle over there as well. You have Achane. It's there's talent, and they've shown explosiveness, but they haven't been able to really put together a full season in a couple seasons. So McDaniels, his seat will be warm as well.
Fourth down. Earlier, we spoke with Bob Condotta about the Seahawks. Anything stand out from our conversation?
Yes, we asked him about the quarterback position. He says there's a clear pecking order. Sam Darnold is the guy. Everyone else is below. You go Drew, then you go Milroe. Asked about the running back position. He goes, yes, there's a clear pecking order. Ken Walker is the guy. Everyone else is below. Then we talked about the tight end. He says, yes, there's a clear pecking order. Noah Fant's the guy, Barner, and then you get to Elijah Arroyo. I like that there's a clear pecking order at those positions on offense because that's the side of the ball that we've been most concerned about. And that means that guys are established. Things can always change. You put the pads on, and bodies can get moved around a bit. I think that one thing to be sure is that Sam's going to be the guy. But I just like that he sees clarity when it comes to personnel. They're not shuffling guys around trying to figure out who's going to play where. The shuffling is going on at one position, which is the offensive line, and we're okay with that. Figure out who's going to be your center. Figure out who's going to be your guard. But no, Condotta, he said, look, man, things are in order at most of these positions. So that's a good thing going into training camp, and we'll see how it unfolds after that.
Let's see what's on tonight.
What's on tonight with Bump and Stacy, brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook at Muckleshoot. Now, here's what's on tonight.
A lot. The Mariners start a 3-game series against the Red Sox. Pregame starts at 5:30 p.m. right here on Seattle Sports. First pitch is going to be at 6:40 p.m. Elsewhere, you've got Game 5 of the NBA Finals tipping off at 5:30 between the Pacers and Thunder, obviously. And on Peacock at 6 p.m., a brand new Love Island. What will Huda make of Nick and Ace voting for her to leave the island? She's still on it. How awkward. You know what I mean?
Dang,
they voted for you to be eliminated, but then you didn't get eliminated. You're still there. I will fill everyone in tomorrow. Don't worry. All right, get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776.
And they sweep aside Cleveland.
Home sweep home.
J.P. Crawford with a grand slam.
Is it a sign the M's are turning the tides?
Don't give up, man. We fight. We fight to the last out.
Find out tonight in the first of 3 against the Red Sox. Wyman and Bob take you up to Mariners pregame at 5:30. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
If you've ever wondered if there's something after death, Tyler Henry proves the answer is yes. Be part of his live audience readings and his jaw-dropping ability to connect with the departed at Muckleshoot Event Center, Thursday, July 10th and Friday, July 11th at 8 p.m. Experience this evening of hope and healing, bringing peace and closure to loved ones. Tyler Henry proves our loved ones never leave us. Get tickets at muckleshootcasino.com. Muckleshoot.
This summer, make sure your roof is ready for the season ahead with a company you can trust, like 3 Tree Roofing. We're not just your roofers, we're your neighbors, and we're here to help you protect your home this season. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free on-site estimate and get your roof replaced before the summer rush and potential material price increases. Our certified technicians make your roof replacement easy and worry-free, so you can focus on the important things this summer. Visit 3treeroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate. 3 Tree Roofing, your Puget Sound roofing experts.
Yeah, I have a ton of really memorable customers. So one of my favorite customers I've ever had, he came in and had a really bad experience with several different dealerships. He just lost his husband. His husband left him with a truck, and he was like, I don't need a truck. Like, this is so impractical for me. And it was a really emotional decision for him because it was one of the last things that he had, obviously husbands. We were like, it's no problem. Like, we're going to help you. And we did the process the same way that we always do the process. And we helped him trade in his truck for a beautiful new Rogue. And that was really cool. And he bought his second car from us. And I'm sure when he needs a third car, he'll come back and buy his third car from Nissan too. Afterwards, to thank us, he sent us this beautiful basket of like candies and fruits and stuff.
Making a great day for the people around you is making a great day for yourself. The LJ way is the Lee Johnson Auto family.
Allergy and sinus symptoms are annoying. They're frustrating and can ruin an entire day. They're also curable. I'm Dr. Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We can free our patients of awful symptoms by testing and treating their allergies to simple, non-invasive treatments. Stop suffering from nasal congestion, sneezing, runny nose, facial pain, and even snoring. Let us help you get relief. Easily, quickly, and permanently. We're local in Federal Way and in Auburn. Come see us or book your appointment at sternsinus.com.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
The Bump and Stacy Show is powered in part each day by the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law Personal Injury Lawyers. Go to pendergastlaw.com.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed a musty smell in your home? I hope not, because damp smells mean that you could have a crawl space problem. That's where Groundworks comes in. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to waterproof your crawl space and get to the root cause of the problem. Schedule your free inspection at groundworks.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Washington is leading the way in car theft reduction. Car thefts dropped by 32% from 2023 to 2024 in our state, but there's still work to be done. Help keep your car safe with these simple and important tips. Don't leave your car running unattended. Park in well-lit areas. Lock up every time. Keep valuables out of sight. Use an anti-theft device like a steering wheel lock. Prevent the theft and keep you and your vehicle safe. These tips are brought to you by the Washington Auto Theft Prevention Authority.
Comcast Business is celebrating Small Business Month by giving you a $1,000 small business bonus when you switch to a qualifying gig speed package from the company with over 99.99% network reliability. Just imagine the thousands of possibilities of a $1,000 prepaid card. Like possibility number 1, company merch for staff. Styling. Or possibility number 24, the latest software, upgrade. Or possibility number 192, new equipment powered by gig speeds. Or possibility number 555, a 3D printer. Rapid prototyping, anyone? Switch to Comcast Business for over 99.99% network reliability, advanced cybersecurity, and now get started with a $1,000 small business bonus. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
And 6/22/25. New customers only with 2-year agreement. Other restrictions apply.
This hour is brought to you by Mazda of Everett.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio, you're listening to Bump and Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
Get your questions in for What I Need to Know coming up in 15 minutes. 866-979-3776. Also, the 2025 MLB All-Star Ballot is open. Cal, Julio, JP, and the crew need your help to secure a spot through this year's Midsummer Classic. You can vote up to 5 times per day every day through June 26th at MLB.com/vote. Cal Raleigh, second in the American League in vote getters right now.
Let's go.
Let's go, Cal. See if we can get a second guy over there. Okay. So I've got 3 controversial stories going on here. And we are going to decide whether or not this person was in the right. All 3 were mentioned during today's show, so you guys are well versed on these 3 issues. I'm going to start with this one, for instance. A monumental blockbuster trade involving Rafael Devers. Boston Red Sox sent him to the Giants. They didn't get a ton back, but it's in part because the Giants took on a massive contract, 8 years remaining on a 10-year deal, $313 million, for Devers to still be a DH in San Francisco. Devers didn't request a trade, but rumors of unhappiness between him and the front office continued when he refused to play first base. We're going to focus on that part of it. He's already been gone.
Yeah.
Boston clearly wasn't cool with it. But was Rafael Devers in the wrong, for refusing to play first base?
I play wide slot receiver, right? Mm-hmm. I would assume it's something like asking me to move to the outside when I know that my skill set fits the slot the best. Now, when I played baseball, I was in the outfield. Throw me anywhere in the outfield, and I was good to go. I felt good. Right, left, center, don't matter. Never played infield, so I can't speak on experience when it comes to the field from going to third to first base or whatnot. So I don't know. I think that if he felt like it was going to hinder his game, that he wasn't completely comfortable. Remember, there's a guy who used to play on this team named Tavares who had never played outfield. Okay, and you see this man running to a ball and miss it by 3 feet. Why? Because repetition. He just hasn't done that before. He hasn't been in that situation, right? So mentally, I get where he's coming from. He's saying, no, like I just don't feel comfortable playing in this position. But you are getting paid a lot of money. These guys are signing your checks. If they're asking you to do it for the team, at least give it a try. If you go out there and you're garbage, they're going to move you anyway. It's I think Dave Wyman, this second time I'm referencing Dave today, Dave Wyman said on one of his shows, he goes, yeah, you just do a poor job and you'll automatically get moved from that spot. He goes, I don't like washing dishes, so what do? I do them poorly.
Wow.
So therefore, I won't be asked to do the dishes again. Not saying
weaponized incompetence.
That's exactly what it is. Weaponized incompetence.
Not saying he would go out there and play poorly on purpose, but you should at least give it a go.
The decision might be made for him.
And then if you're not good, you're not good.
I'm with you 1,000%. I'm not even going to spend too much time. I'm echoing the same sentiment of, look, we all get that it sucks to be asked something that you're not comfortable doing for work.
Yeah.
However, when you're the highest paid person, like if my boss came in and said, hey, we're going to ask you to do infinitely more than you're doing right now, and you're just going to have to deal with it, I'd probably still do it. But it's a bummer because you're like, I'm not getting paid more for this, and I'm doing 4 other people's jobs. Like, what? Right? Like, think of something that would make you feel like it was taking up time, you're uncomfortable, you're not cool with it. But you're getting paid the most.
Yeah.
You're the highest paid player on that team.
Yeah.
And you're being asked because the first baseman is done for the year. Curtis, Ian, you guys want to chime in before I get to the next one? You on board with me and Bump here? It's not hype train, but
I've got a David Ortiz quote from Ken Rosenthal. I played for the Red Sox for a long time. You think everything with me and the Red Sox was roses and flowers? I went through some tough times also, but I was mature enough to understand and keep things internal.
Yeah.
Even in the best families, between the best brothers, stuff happens. You need to have the maturity to resolve the problems and move on. I don't know why this all had to happen out in the open. Why couldn't have this been more of a closed door thing, have an open conversation with him before the season starts about, we want you to be more flexible, instead of telling him one thing and then asking him different things once the season gets started. It's just totally mishandled.
So what is your answer?
he's in the wrong?
Both.
They're both in the wrong.
You got to pick one.
You got to pick one. You think Devers is in the wrong?
Of course he should have played.
I'm saying Devers should have moved.
Yeah, Devers should have moved.
I get your angle though, for sure.
Let's see. I have time for both. Let's stick with baseball, and then we'll wrap up with Shamar Stewart. Davey Martinez saying, let me actually get this cut. So Davey Martinez is very unhappy with obviously how the Nationals are playing. He is being asked as part of this press conference, hey, when is it on players and when is it on coaches? I'm not going to play the whole thing, but he says this.
It's never on coaching.
Yikes. And then he goes on for 1 minute and 8 seconds to talk about all the ways that his coaches are trying their absolute hardest and they can't go out there and hit and run and throw strikes. Was he in the wrong?
Yeah, he's in the wrong. You are the leader of the squad, man. You say, look, if you don't want to take full responsibility, you take most of it or some of it. Hey, you know, the coaches, we got to connect with the players. The players got to go out and execute our game plan. Because end of the day, especially in baseball, you're literally wearing the same uniform. You are wearing the same uniform. You guys are on the same team. So you protect the team like you're a parent. As a parent, you protect your kids at all costs. You take some L's sometimes. That's what he should have done. There's a way he could have set this that allowed him to own some of this, because there's no way you're just walking away from this thing hands clean like, no, I had nothing to do with this. You are the skip.
Yes.
Come on, man.
Guys, look, this team is not playing well. And I will say, in Davey's defense, though I agree that he's in the wrong for this, in Davey's defense, there are a couple Washington Nationals players that are having like career lows in a couple different categories. They're clearly not executing. Was he right to say it's not the coach's fault?
Look, I love that he said this. This is tremendous radio and tremendous audio from him, but you can't do that as a manager. You really cannot do that, especially if you want to. If you expect your team to be inspired by what you said, you have clearly missed the point. It, like, you got to see all these guys the next day and the day after that and the day after that,
like later that day.
Exactly. Like, you think they're going to be okay with what you've said?
Oh no.
Ugh.
Brother, you manage the Nationals. No one expects you to be like a 750 team. It's fine. Like you had that World Series, enjoy that World Series, but you're not the Yankees. Like, no one expects them to perform at a high level.
Okay, last one, and I actually think it's the hardest. Bump's been covering this for a while now, since it's been happening, but it was one of our 4 downs today, and it was about Shamar Stewart. So he is in a holdout, 17th overall pick, in a holdout with the Bengals, particularly regarding language regarding injury insurance. So there is a minor detail in this contract that he does not feel comfortable playing under. And the Bengals, who, Bump, you said are a bit of the odd man out compared to some other teams with this, are refusing to budge. Now, the Bengals need defensive help, and he's someone they brought in, presumably for insurance against another contract holdout. It's all looking bad. Is the rookie in the wrong?
I'm going to second my guy Ian and say both these guys are wrong. All right, but for things to change, someone has to be a pioneer, right? Someone has to be the first to challenge something or to do something if you want to change a process, a system, however they do things. So I don't think he's in the wrong. I think that he's risking a lot, though. I think he's risking his reputation, his relationship with the team. He's risking a lot of money. But I don't think he's in the wrong, because if you feel like you are being treated differently because there's a contract signed by their tackle first-round pick last year that doesn't have some of the language that's in his contract, then you got to stand up for yourself. But being the first to do something like that and stand up for it, requires a lot of risk, and he's risking a lot, but I don't think he's wrong.
So again, as Bump said, Shamar wants basically the contract that, not money-wise, but like those little parts of the contract, like injury guarantees, injury insurance, whatever, that other rookies have signed with Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
And he does not like this one little clause or like an interpretation of something in it. He's not comfortable playing under it. The Bengals, meanwhile, or if you're a fan of the Bengals, maybe you're saying, you're a rookie, Curtis, Ian, is Shamar Stewart, who might be unsigned through August, or like continue to be traded. You have until 30 days before the start of the regular season. I just learned this to trade, an unsigned rookie. Maybe it ends up happening. Is he in the wrong?
I don't think he's in the wrong on this, because if it's regarding like injury insurance, I mean, he is putting his body out on the line every single week. That's a very important thing I would be looking for if signing over my next 4 to 5 years with a company, especially one where you could end up in a hospital at any moment. And it's the Bengals. The Bengals are notoriously cheap. They are probably the cheapest organization in the NFL. Their reputation does not help them out here at all.
Ian,
if this was if this was even a kind of dysfunctional team, if this was like the Cardinals or something where they don't really do much, they're pretty cheap and they kind of have a reputation for that, but like you thought it was just a guy fighting for his life, then right, that makes sense. The Bengals have lost all credibility over the past 3 or 4 years, where like you can just tell they don't want to spend the money.
You can just tell they're in the wrong.
Right.
We can just tell the Bengals are in the wrong. All right, you guys, get your questions in for What I Need to Know, 866-979-3776.
And they sweep aside Cleveland.
Home sweep home.
J.P. Crawford with a grand slam.
Is it a sign the M's are turning the tides?
You know, don't give up, man. We fight. We fight to the last out.
Find out tonight in the first of 3 against the Red Sox. Wyman and Bob take you up to Mariners pregame at 5:30. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
Hey, Brock Ewart here with my buddy Dave Taylor from First Mark Insurance. You know, Dave, I love sport. You love sport. And I love sitting with coaches and hearing their game plan each and every week. What are the keys to a First Mark Insurance game plan?
It's a great question, Brock. I think there's really 3 keys to a great game plan with us. Number 1 is we want to make sure that our clients have the correct coverage for their unique specific needs. So that's number 1. Do you have the right coverage? Number 2, once we have the right coverage, are we getting that coverage at the most competitive price possible? And then last and not least would be, once we have the right coverage at the most competitive price, are we providing world-class service to those customers so that when they need it, they have someone there that's got their back?
Those are the 3 keys to a First Mark Challenge victory. And man, am I so glad Molly and I took the challenge. We are one of so many through a decade plus of being a First Mark Challenge victory. You can too. Just simply go to firstmarkinsurance.com. Firstmarkinsurance.com.
When it comes to the security of your business, doubts can creep in about who you're trusting to protect it. At Bay Alarm, we got you. For nearly 80 years, we've been putting our customers' minds at ease with our advanced technology and personalized support. Feeling insecure about your current security service? Visit bayalarm.com today.
G. Scott here with former Seahawks Cliff Averill and Doug Baldwin. I heard you guys are having a celebrity pickleball tournament to raise money for Nourishing Champions. Why pickleball?
Obviously, it's a growing sport, but also this model is that we will actually be playing with community.
We are the most competitive people, so regardless of how sorry Doug might be, he will be out there competing like it's a Super Bowl.
Sign up for the Celebrity Pickleball Tournament, open to all skill levels. For details, go to championsofchangefoundation.org/pickleball.
You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Superior Linen Service will help your company with logoed apparel, uniforms, floor mats, linen, and more. Give us a call. We answer the phone. Superior Linen Service. It's what we do. Visit suplinen.com.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Tired of hearing scary radio ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000 or $500,000, we have a solution. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS with zero risk to you. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with a BBB. End your tax nightmare today by visiting TRA.com or call 800-583-6681. That's 800-583-6681.
It's the Graz here for my friends at Premier Golf. Take advantage of early sunrise and late sunset at the 11 different Premier courses today. From Bellingham, Everett, and Marysville to Linwood, Bellevue, and Seattle, even out on the coast, they've got a course near you. Play Inter Bay or Jackson, Bill Wright or West Seattle, Bellevue, Legion Memorial, Walter Hall, Linwood, Cedar Crest, Lake Patton, and even Ocean Shores. Courses are in great shape and ready for your next round. Visit PremierGolfCenters.com. That's PremierGolfCenters.com and book your tee time today.
The home of the Mariners, Seattle Sports.
Cal swinging a drive, deep to right field.
Every pitch of every Mariners game is on the Seattle Sports app.
Are you curious about who offers the best deals on top-rated Samsung, LG, and Sony TVs? The answer is surprising. It's not online, and it's not the warehouse clubs. The best deals on top-rated TVs are at Video Only. Don't believe it? Then check out the trade-in deals at Video Only. How about $500 for your old TV? Try doing that online. Before you buy that new TV, drop into Video Only. If you don't, you'll be sorry.
Ready for some summer hoops? Register your team for the July 12th and 13th Everett 3-on-3 tournament presented by Boeing. 4 players to a team, 2 days of exciting action, 1 incredible tournament. Players of all ages and abilities are encouraged to come out and play. Go to Everett3on3.net today and sign up your team. That's Everett3on3.net. A special thank you to event major sponsors Amazon, City of Everett, Snohomish County TPA, and Tulalip Resort Casino.
The secret's out on what Western Washington dads want this summer. A beautiful green lawn that they don't have to mow or water. One they can use to host, play with their kids, and even practice chipping. Synthetic Turf Northwest has your solution. Low-maintenance lawns they'll install anywhere in Western Washington. Take advantage of their Father's Day sale for up to $1,500 off a new lawn, perfectly installed through June. Synthetic Turf Northwest. Your green lawn solution. SyntheticTurfNorthwest.com.
The future is here, so why is your internet stuck in the past? With Quantum Fiber Internet, you can get next-level multi-gig speed on a reliable fiber network. Fair and honest pricing with no annual contracts or bundling required. And whole home 360 Wi-Fi to make sure your devices are ready to take you where you want to go. So you can stream, post, game, surf, like, and love to your heart's content. You do you. Let Quantum Fiber Internet take care of the rest. Learn more at quantumfiber.com. Limited availability, service, and speed in select locations only.
From the Quantum Fiber Studio.
This is Bumpin' Stacy.
Weekdays 10 to 2.
On Seattle Sports and 97.3 FM HD2.
It's what I need to know. Get your questions in 866-979-3776. What I need to know. What's your favorite sound or clip that you never get tired of?
Hey, Seattle, we got a deal.
Do we have that one?
You gotta
You
sleep.
gotta hear it. Go to sleep. Hey, Seattle.
Hit y'all in the morning.
Oh, God.
My man came super black in that moment. He went from just corny black to super black in that
tell you
moment.
He leaned in. He really leaned in. Hey, Seattle.
With his little chains on and stuff.
Oh, remember when Tyler and DJ Fluker, and DJ Fluker was Sierra, and they redid it. I love Bump saying, I know we have that at Hotkeys, Ian. I love Bump saying, go Dogs.
I want UW to win the Apple Cup.
Go Dogs.
It sounds so natural.
So natural.
And that's what I think I love most about it. I also love either the Eagles varsity or the guy that's at the Cubs game. It's basically the 8, Steve.
Yeah.
Those are 2 clips I laugh at.
Now what? Was the 8th inning? 9th inning?
7.
Basically the 8th, Steve.
He's just wasted. He is wasted to the news anchor. Just basically the 8th, Steve. No one cares.
We're running out of guys out here. We're on reserves. Practice squad guys. I'm ready to roll if they need me. I'm 26 years old.
We're all ready to roll.
I played 2 years. Varsity. I'm in the best shape of my life.
Oh, God. Did you find we got It's okay if we didn't. It's really okay.
Hey, Seattle.
No.
We got a deal.
Go Hawks. I forgot that part.
Gross.
I forgot. Go Hawks. Someone said Duval. And then, of course, playoffs. Talking playoffs? God, there's so many good ones. I can't
Duval.
The Duval one has quickly climbed into my top 5.
Yeah, easy.
Easy. Duval.
It's a surreal feeling. We did it. We did it!
Curtis, I know that was yours.
I'll defend that one till the day I die.
Oh,
I'm
no,
sure you
stop
will.
it. I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will. 866-979-3776. What I need to know. When you're at an office shindig with free snacks and cans of soda, how many are you sneaking out at the end?
No soda. I'm taking candy all day.
Yeah.
At the press box, you know how they lay out the candy?
Mm-hmm.
I take so much candy to my kids.
How many do you take? 3?
I take like 3 of everything.
3 of everything?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
And they're there, you know, there's no one else wants them.
Yeah.
Snatching.
Let's see. What I need to know. Bump, how do I break into the 80s? I'm stuck at 91.
Get rid of those double bogeys, bro. Play the course. You don't always have to hit the long ball, man. Play your numbers. If you like 130, play your 130 shots. Get to the numbers you like. Eliminate doubles.
That's what I was going to say. What I need to know. Dick's or In-N-Out? I've never had In-N-Out.
I mean, it's Dick's all the way. It's got to be.
I don't like Dick's fries. They're greasy. They're gross. They're little grease sponges.
And I can't pick.
You can't?
Nah, because it's like when I'm in Cali, In-N-Out is hitting. And when I'm out here, Dick's is hitting.
But what if there was an In-N-Out here? Which would you choose?
I'd probably, because I grew up on In-N-Out.
See, it's like the nostalgia kind of factor, and that's okay.
But I think the simplicity of a Dick's burger and how good it tastes is crazy to me. It's simple as heck, but the cheeseburgers are fire.
I just think they're not a sponsor, right? I think they really need to fix the fries. The fries are disgusting. I hate the French fries, and it's really a shame because if I'm going to go get a burger, I can't just have that and not fries.
Mm-hmm.
That's reckless. It feels irresponsible. It feels like, I don't even know. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't like their fries at all. I'm done ranting. What I need to know. Let's see here. Cultural or regional? Calling it a couch or sofa? Do we think that's...
What do you call it?
It's couch.
Couch.
Call it sofa.
Oh.
It's a couch.
It might be both. Might be regional and cultural.
It might. Unfortunately, we need to do some digging.
Yeah. Where's our UPS driver? I think he's a black dude.
If everyone could say your delegation and then also whether or not you call it a couch or sofa, we need to get to the bottom of this.
Trevor. I think it's Trevor, UPS. Trevor, what do you call it, Trevor? Text in. I need you.
866-979-3776. What I need to know. Why don't we see jerseys with the style of other sports leagues? For example, NBA jerseys in an MLB style or NFL in the NBA.
They have those.
Those are like fashion jerseys.
Yeah,
those,
more of like,
My son has a Kobe baseball jersey.
This person said couch has 3 seats, sofa has 2. Yeah, like if I saw a love seat, would I call it a couch?
A love seat. I call it a love seat.
I think I'll call it a couch no matter what. I remember being on a friend's family vacation, and her sister called an outdoor bench a couch, and it was really funny.
Outdoor bench?
Yeah, like she would just be like, yeah, he's over there sitting on the couch, and we were like, the bench? To this day, I'll think about that and laugh. 866-979-3776. Rumor is there's an In-N-Out opening in Arlington.
Don't you play with me. Don't you play with me.
Is Arlington in Washington?
Yeah, it's north of me. This is north maybe like half an hour.
There's one in Arlington, Texas.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't think there's one in the state of Washington.
Well, are they not going to?
There's a couple in Oregon.
I thought that they were going to open one in Washington.
There's one in Salem. I don't know if there's anyone closer than the one in Salem.
Someone said Davenport. They're building one in Woodland.
Who's that?
Like Woodland Park?
Oh, no. Nice. No, Davenport isn't a place. It's people calling a couch something.
Oh.
Someone said I'm black from LA and I say couch.
You said couch. All right, I guess it's
Trev said sofa.
So Trev said sofa. We're the delegation. We're 2-1 sofa right now.
Wow. We need to figure this out.
So
Okay.
apparently Ridgefield, Washington could be getting an in and out here. This is according to Fox 13.
We need to get boots on the ground and figure out what's going on there. Ian.
I mean,
so sorry, but
you have family that lives closer to there than anybody, Stacy.
I know, right?
Wait, where is it?
It's Southern Washington.
Where in Southern Washington? I wasn't listening.
Ridgefield.
Ridgefield?
Yeah.
Well, now I got to figure out where that is.
It says it's near Vancouver.
Near Vancouver?
Yeah.
I'll send my mom. She'll be like, I
Yeah,
forgot
it's
where
like-
I was going. We stopped for a garage sale.
It is on the way to Vancouver, just
Okay.
on I-5 South.
Well, we'll do some digging. Don't go anywhere. Wyman and Bob coming up next.
And they sweep aside Cleveland.
Home sweep home.
J.P. Crawford with a grand slam.
Is it a sign the M's are turning the tides?
You know, don't give up, man. We fight. We fight to the last out.
Find out tonight in the first of 3 against the Red Sox. Wyman and Bob take you up to Mariners pregame at 5:30. First pitch at 6:40 on the home of the Mariners. Seattle Sports on 710 and the Seattle Sports app.
The team at Mazda of Everett is always working hard to make your experience with their team exceptional. Mazda of Everett has over 700 new Mazdas in stock, tariff-free. It's the perfect time to buy a new Mazda. Visit our friends at Mazda of Everett on Highway 99 in Everett or shop online at MazdaofEverett.com. Click the Mazda of Everett price where pre-tariff pricing still applies. Shop their tariff-free selection at Mazda of Everett.
Hey, Brock Ewart here for my friends over at Xfinity. You know, change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, we know that change is all around us. Songs are rewritten and remade. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists, well, they come and go. Even our taste in music, as we get older, can change a bit. But no matter how things change in 5 years, there's one thing that will stay the same. And that is the price of your internet. That's right. Xfinity is introducing a 5-year price guarantee. It means you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with their best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Are you surprised? Well, life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at Xfinity.com/deals. Now, restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August of 2024. Go check it all out right online at Xfinity.com/deals.
Heading to the ball game? Don't mess with traffic and pricey parking fees. Make it easy and ride the bus. It's affordable and convenient. No stress, no hassle. And plenty of time to grab a hot dog before first pitch. Community Transit makes riding the bus fun, easy, and affordable. You save money on parking, and kids under 18 ride for free. See where they can take you and plan your trip today. Go to Community Transit at ctgo.org/home run. Take advantage of Lake Washington Windows hot savings. $750 off per window and $1,500 off per door with leak armor installation. And enjoy 12 months same as cash financing only through June. Visit lakewashingtonwindows.com.
If you want that summer body you've always dreamed of, then this message is for you, ladies, and you men too. Get rid of extra stubborn fat and address areas of loose skin around the waistline, chin, and under the upper arms with ProSculpt, the new one-day instant permanent fat removal and skin tightening treatment. Maybe you've tried the lasers, fat freezing methods, even those new pills, but without the desired results. ProSculpt is different. It's minimally invasive, performed while fully awake, gentle, yet powerful. Designed to target the waistline, chin, neck, arms, and thighs, ProSculpt uses FDA-cleared plasma technology to deliver immediate, permanent fat-reducing and skin-tightening results, all in just one visit. If you want that summer body this summer, then you must act now. Go to ProSculpt.com today to schedule your free consultation. Get $250 off. For instant, permanent fat reduction and skin tightening, visit ProSculpt.com.
Jet City Harley sign and ride event. No cash down needed. Rates as low as 1.49% APR on select Harleys. Save thousands on interest at Jet City Harley Davidson. On approved credit on new 2024 Lowrider ST, Lowrider S, or Road Glide 3 models. See dealer for details.
Hey, it's Mike Rohn. If I have a choice, I like to do business with companies that actually stand for something. That's why I switched from Verizon to Pure Talk. No offense to Verizon, I'm sure they stand for something. I just don't know what it is. Pure Talk, on the other hand, is a veteran-owned company that supports our military in a big way, and I appreciate that. Yeah, I also appreciate unlimited talk and text and plenty of data for half the cost of the big guys, and I do like being on America's most dependable 5G network for just $20 a month, but what I really appreciate is no contract, no cancellation fees, and Pure Talk's commitment to handle all their customer service in this country. I saw it for myself. I went to Georgia, I got a tour of their headquarters, I met their CEO, and I talked to the same customer service folks that you'll talk to when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Switch today and save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. A wireless company that actually stands for something.
Spring is back. Our bats are back. Is your postnasal drip and congestion back as well? Hi, this is Dr. Ryan Stern with the Stern Sinus Center. We are a proud national center of excellence for helping hundreds of patients with Rynair. For those of you sick of searching for another allergy medication, Rynair is a minimally invasive procedure that significantly reduces postnasal drip, congestion, and stuffiness after only one treatment. Come see us in Auburn or Federal Way